Hello and welcome to the latest episode of The Talking Tradesman, actually the first episode recorded in 2026. And the man for the occasion today, I have Jack Anthony, the founder, owner of Safehands. So Jack, thank you for coming in, mate.
My pleasure, mate. My pleasure.
Been a couple of lads that have been eagerly anticipating and waiting for this episode, excited to see you sat down in the chair. So we'll get it out of the way early doors, mate, because Aaron he'll throw a hissy fit if I don't give him a shout out. So big shout out to Aaron Ashton and Raf as well, former guest of the podcast, Rafael, for both of them putting you forward and wanting you to come and sit down with me, mate. So
yeah, it took some persuading. Well, it took a lot of persuading, I'm not going to lie. It took a hell of a lot of persuading. But yeah, it just seemed like now was the right time. I got a bit of a reputation for not saying much.
Today's the day to say something, Jack.
I don't think it's going to be as controversial as people are hoping, but we shall
Mate,
see.
just natural, man. Just natural. It don't have to be controversy. But I think maybe if we start off with sort of like who you are and what you do, just to introduce you to people, that'd be a great start point.
Yeah, it's not a problem. So currently working in combat sports. I'm from a boxing background, unapologetically. A lot of people like to say that they love all combat sports. And my passion's boxing. A massive passion of mine. It always has been. Wasn't the best boxer. I'm not ashamed to admit it. But I was keen. I was very, very keen. And just from an early period, I realised the sort of... Everybody knows how hard professional athletes work. Everybody does. But what you see behind the scenes in professional boxing, professional MMA, even now, more recently, professional bare-knuckle, that's becoming quite a popular sport now. The work that these guys put in, and I was privy to seeing a lot of that. And it just meant I was really, really keen in the gym just to go that extra mile, sort of tap into their mindsets. And as time went on, I learned how to look after the hands, I learned how to look after the faces, and it's just a very, very, very slow process. At no point did I intend on being a cutman in combat sports. I wanted to be a fighter. But here I am now, and it's just slowly morphed into what Safehands is now. So we used to provide other cuts people, other rappers that go to shows, whereas at the moment it's just me, due to personal circumstances in 2025, it's just myself now. But it's just slowly, organically growing and growing and growing.
So I guess, I think people that follow combat sports will know what a cutman is.
Yeah.
But just to explain to the audience that might not either be that deep into combat sports, so being a cutman is how it sounds. You're there in the corner to look after the fighter should they get cut.
Yeah.
And also to protect and wrap the hands prior to the fight.
It's exactly how it sounds. You were talking about wrapping hands there. It's not necessarily, not all cutmen wrap hands. Many do. Sometimes the coach prefers to do it, which is absolutely fine. Fighter preference, they prefer the coach to do it. Sometimes you have a specialist rapper come in. Sometimes I do that. I'll be there and I won't be in the corner, but I'll wrap the hands. So a scenario for people who probably don't watch combat sports, Tyson Fury, for example, he could be 6 rounds into a fight, absolutely coasting, and then a massive gash opens up over his eye. And then you've got the referee wanting to stop it, potentially the doctor. And it's our job in the corner to sort of stem that bleed, dress it up, make it not look as bad as it potentially is, and get them that extra round where we can, and get them as far into the fight, if not to the end of the fight, where we can.
To be fair, mate, it might sound, to the person that doesn't maybe know combat sports, it might sound like a minor thing, but we were talking pre-record about the money on the line with professional boxing and careers and things like that. And if that treatment of that injury, that cut, can actually keep them in the fight for an extra round or however long it might be to win the fight.
One round can change your life.
Yeah.
One round can change your life. And some of these guys at the moment the money that's involved at the moment, particularly in professional boxing, with the Saudi connections, and a lot of these guys that are boxing at small hall level, they have dreams now of getting that call that could change their life, that one performance. And yeah, sometimes it can boil down. People love us when they need us, cutmen. It's one of those jobs, everybody thinks they can do it. I don't know, in the trade. I'm sure there's jobs in the trade, everyone thinks they can do it until push comes to shove.
Normally my trade, mate, painting and decorating, that's the
go.
one they go for. The old expression, if you can piss, you can paint.
Well,
That's the one.
I tried to do my skirting the other day and it went vastly wrong. I've got white specks all over laminate flooring now, so I definitely can't do it.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, people love us when they need us, mate. And to be fair, looking after... I think wrapping hands is an art. That's the unfashionable aspect of my job. Nobody wants to really wrap hands. They want to be out in front of the cameras.
I was going to say, is that because it's in the light, the
I
cameras, the light, they're there in the background? I mean, I think I said to you again pre-record, but I'm a big UFC fan, and I know like the Cutmen there, like Stitch. Is it Stitch Duran?
Yeah, Stitch is...
The fact that I know who he is, and he's there as a Cutman.
Stitch is very prevalent in our field. He's in MMA as well. If you've got to be a very skilled Cutman as well. So pro boxing, I didn't realise how simple pro boxing could be until I did bare knuckle. So bare knuckle's just a different gravy. MMA, Muay Thai, A-class Muay Thai, with the elbows flying around and some of the stuff you see. I mean, they're mad fuckers, some of these Muay Thai lads.
Let's stop there a moment to say a massive thank you to our headline sponsors, Zinza. Now, Zinza understands the commitment and dedication and long hours it takes to get a job done right. That's why they make the paints and primers that pros trust to do their best work. Plus, if you're looking for support, you can also sign up for pro membership and you'll have access to Zinza's specification team. They make it easy to pick the right products and will work closely with you on site to deliver a solution that meets the highest standards. It's all part of what makes Zinza the mark of a pro. A big thank you to Zinza for continuing to support the Talking Tradesman podcast and helping us spread mental health awareness throughout construction and beyond. Now let's get back to the episode. You do all of this?
I don't do Muay Thai and MMA as much as I do the other disciplines. MMA is probably something I'd like to do a little bit more.
Because I know obviously the lads that have mentioned you previously are bare knuckle lads with Aaron and Raf.
Yes.
And with Cuts, bare knuckle, mate. I mean, that's all you see, isn't it? I mean, we'll talk a little bit about this because bare knuckle seems to have exploded over the last few years.
Yeah.
And it's gone from, I talked about this, like bare knuckle fights when I was growing up, it was like a backhanded VHS that somebody had recorded in a car. But a lot of it were traveller fights, and it was that old, it seemed to be like bare knuckle boxing was a thing. I don't know what we're talking, maybe 1800s. It was like, you saw the old posters.
It was the original boxing, yeah.
The original boxing. Then obviously glove boxing came in and became the norm, and bare knuckle was like, well, it was illegal, wasn't it? It felt like it was illegal if it wasn't illegal.
I'd be lying if I said I know when legislation changed and that, because like I said, unapologetically, I'm from a glove boxing background. I've always respected bare knuckle, always, as a sport, as a discipline. I was just never necessarily a fan of it. And when I say I wasn't a fan of it, I've had it before where people have said, "Oh, you're just a snooty boxing man." No, just in the same sense, I'm not a fan of golf or badminton.
Boxing's your sport,
Boxing's my sport. I'd be saying the same about MMA. MMA I've become more knowledgeable about as I've connected and networked with more people, work with more fighters, go to the gyms, help them out. But bare knuckle, particularly since I've got friends that work at BKB in a variety of capacities. Then I started working for BKFC at the start of 2025. And my respect has just completely and utterly gone through the roof for these guys. It's very akin to how MMA was 20 years ago, I think. Yeah. So MMA was still seen as a bit of a niche.
Do you think sport, with your knowledge and insight, you can see how it's going probably better than the normal person because you're behind the scenes? Do you think bare knuckle is going to skyrocket the way that it's continuing for the next, say, 5-10 years?
When bare knuckle gets its McGregor, I think it will. I do. I wouldn't have said that 12 months ago. I wouldn't have said, that's not me being disrespectful to bare knuckle boxing. But when I started working for BKFC and seeing how who by the way, 99% of them, just like boxing or MMA, they're absolute gentlemen. I mean, these guys could do some serious damage just on a whim, if they so chose.
Listen, I've been very privileged to sit down with some incredible people, Aaron being one, Raf being another, Matthew Morton being another. Yeah. And I've got more booked in, and on every occasion, mate, complete gentlemen.
Honestly, all of them. A lot of them portray themselves, that's part of the business, which is how it is. Don't get me wrong, you do get someone say, I'm not talking about bare knuckle boxing specifically, combat sport, you do get the odd unsavoury sort of type of person, but even so, they all have the same aspirations. They want to win titles, they want to earn money, they want to be financially secure, which at the end of the day, no matter what you think about them, you can't help but respect that. And every combat sport athlete, I hope they earn every pound that they can. I really, really do.
Well, they're putting everything on the line to do it, mate, aren't they? So, yeah, if anyone deserves it.
So, from a bare knuckle point of view, again, going back to it, I can pinpoint a moment in 2025 where it just changed for me, my outlook on bare knuckle boxing. So, you've got a lot of professional boxers that have been, and big name professional boxers as well, that have been turning their hand to bare knuckle boxing.
Is it recently, De Gale, he stepped in?
So I wrapped up De Gale before he went in to the ring. He fought an Australian called Matt Floyd.
Oh, you did that?
So I prepped him before he went. I didn't work his corner, so I prepped his hands. He wanted wrapping 3/4 an hour before. You had the Commission in there. You had Tony Bellew was in there. The Smith brothers, Ben Bonner, who is a BKFC champion from Middlesbrough. And we prepped his hands. He didn't know how he wanted them done, so we did one hand one way, did the one the other way, because there's different rules as how you can wrap the hands. He said he preferred this way, so we did both hands that way. And the moment it changed for me this year was Jamie Cox. He fought in Birmingham. I believe it was Birmingham. Yes, it was. It was Birmingham on the undercard of Conatine.
Okay.
Jamie Cox was a very high-level professional boxer. He boxed George Groves for the world title. I think he held a British and a European championship. I could be incorrect. But in boxing circles, Jamie Cox was always very highly regarded. And he stepped in the ring with Chaz Wasserman. Chaz Wasserman, South African fighter, he's boxed professionally himself, but he's more known for his bare-knuckle exploits. And I remember coming out from the back, and I sat ringside and I watched this fight take place, and it was the performance of the night. I think it's one of the performances of the year I've seen in any combat sport. Jamie Cox was made to look completely and utterly out of his depth. Chaz Wasserman, honestly, still now, like if I see him, I say to him, that performance in Birmingham. I remember saying to him after it as well, honestly, what a performance it was. Yeah, I don't think he's fought since. So hopefully he gets a big 2026, something comes of that performance. But that was the moment where I just sort of thought, you know, this is a completely different game.
I think there's a misconception, isn't there, that, and we saw it a bit with De Gale, there is that misconception, and I had a bias towards MMA fighters with the bare knuckle, that these guys that come from, I guess, speaking bluntly, I think the bare knuckle scene is probably looked at as a bit less skilled and a bit more brutality.
Yes, it was, yeah.
But the reality of that, when you see these ex-pro boxers and the ex-MMA guys come over and they're not, you know, that they don't hit the levels that you expect. Like De Gale, everyone thought he was going to walk through, was it Matt Floyd?
Yeah.
Thought he was going to walk through him, but it was a very closely contested, scrappy affair. I'm
not going to lie, it was hard to watch.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch. It was dirty. It was, well, bare knuckle boxing by nature has a dirty aspect to it. You're allowed to hit each other in the clinch.
Yeah.
It's a completely different sport to boxing. But then if you've got to be a pro boxer that does turn over to it, probably somebody that comes from a high-level amateur background, like a De Gale, it probably wouldn't suit them, maybe. Again, that's just my opinion. But yeah, that was a very hard watch. But that, like
Some
I said,
of the MMA lads have struggled though, Jack, haven't they, as well?
some of them have, but some of them have done quite well. I worked recently in Derby, and I met a Scottish guy called Brian Hislop, and he's from an MMA background. You might see him on social media, maybe, and I've seen some of his stuff. He talks about being a fortified man. He's very, very much about. I mean, people talk about toxic masculinity nowadays. No, he's very, very proud of being a masculine man. He wears caps that says "Make men fight again."
I fucking hate the phrase toxic masculinity.
Yeah, he's absolutely. He's from what I've seen of him, he's not about toxic masculinity. But he wears caps that says "Make men fight again," and he's very. But he does talk a lot of sense as well. And meeting him that night, he's one of the few MMA lads that the fight he was in as well. He was landing some utter bombs on the chin of the chap he was fighting, who didn't go down. And he just got to the point where I think maybe Brian got tired, and that might be why he lost, but.
Well, like Mike Perry's done incredibly well, hasn't he, with BKFC?
Is that the?
He used to be UFC, yeah. Used to be UFC, same thing, very scrappy, but didn't do particularly well in MMA.
I think he's done BKFC. I think he come to London to fight Michael Page.
Yeah, MVP.
He was at Wembley Arena, that was. I wasn't working for them at the time. But
was that bare-knuckle? Was it?
Bare-knuckle at Wembley
Has
Arena.
Michael Page done bare-knuckle?
I think it was at Wembley Arena, that was.
Oh, well. I wasn't aware of that one.
I think it was. I might have to fact check that. I might have to. But I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
Again, as I say, wasn't outstanding MMA, but has been outstanding bare-knuckle. But the point I guess I'm trying to make around the houses here is it is its own discipline.
Absolutely.
With its own skill set and its own standout athletes, and they don't necessarily cross over. Like you say, an outstanding boxer might not necessarily cross straight over into bare-knuckle.
I always use the adage, especially when you get like the MMA guys that fight the boxing. I mean, you've had MMA guys come over to boxing. With McGregor, when he came and fought Mayweather. The lion and the shark, if they're going to have a contest, on land, the lion's going to win. In the sea, the shark's going to win. It's two completely different beasts.
Great analogy, that one, Jack.
That's exactly how I see it, and I've started applying that to bare-knuckle now. So don't get me wrong, there are some pro boxers that absolutely could transition to bare-knuckle boxing. But yeah, I do think 2025 was a bit of a landmark moment across bare-knuckle, where people really started to realise, myself included as well, admittedly, started to realise this ain't a cakewalk for anybody thinking it's just they're going to make a quick buck.
I think, if I'm honest, me, myself, it's since speaking to the lads that have come in for the podcast that has then made me watch more bare-knuckle.
Yep.
And then since watching more, I'm like, oh, yeah, I feel this. I'm becoming a fan.
I'm on the same page as you. I didn't really watch it. I didn't really watch it. I didn't have the respect for it that I probably should have. But as a Cutman as well, I briefly worked for a company called Bad to the Bone. They've just been acquired by BKB, which is another organisation in this country. And working at Bad to the Bone, big eye-opener. I used to provide the team at Bad to the Bone, and we used to come out of the shows afterwards, and we'd have these massive surges of adrenaline afterwards, like, wow, like, did you see that cut I had to handle? Did you see, like, that swelling on the guy's head and stuff, like, which sounds really barbaric, I know it does, but unless you've worked in that, there are some guys that consider themselves cuts. I didn't want to say cut men. There's some really, really good female, I suppose cut technicians, the new term.
Cut people,
cut thems. Maybe you'll cut that one out. I don't know.
No, mate, that's fine by me.
Cut thems. There's some fantastic female ones as well. But until you've worked in like a bare-knuckle, like I said earlier, A-class Muay Thai as well, you realise just what a different world it is and how important a Cutman is to these fighters. And they do, especially in bare-knuckle as well. I've found that the appreciation that these guys have for us is another level. They absolutely... the Monday after a show, you'll be flooded with messages on Instagram or Facebook, and they'll be thanking you for this, and that moment in the third round where I couldn't see out my right eye. Thank you so much. They're just really, like I say, they're just gents.
So you know what to do to say if somebody, if they can't see out their eye, you know what to do to try and.
The key is acting early.
Okay.
So if your eye's going to swell, it's going to swell.
Yeah.
The key is act early. So just because we get them to the end of the fight and they can still see out of their eye, tomorrow morning that eye is probably going to be shut.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is using like bits of metal that we use, the end
cold
swells.
compress stuff.
So yeah, we use those. That slows the blood flow to the eye. Just trying to keep the swelling down. If I'm watching, for example, if you're in a contest, and I'm watching you take a southpaw jab constantly to the same side of your face, even before that swelling starts, I'm getting the cold on there to stop the blood go.
Oh, so you're watching how the fight's playing out, and where your fighters are taking hits.
When we're in a corner, we're not really watching how the fight goes. We're watching our guy.
Right.
I was at York Hall recently with Mikey Lee Broughton. He fights under Manning's gym there in Bourneville, in Birmingham. And this was it was a British title eliminator, it was for the English title, it was for a European title. And it was a bit of a controversial result. Now, I couldn't shed any opinion on that. I didn't feel like I could because I hadn't watched the fight like everybody else had. And then I watched it afterwards, and yeah, it absolutely was a controversial result in the end. But yeah, we don't watch the fights like you guys do.
It's interesting, mate, because it's not something I've really considered before. But you just saying that, it gives a bit of a different perspective as to what you're there to do your job.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're watching where your fighter's taking blows to know where to treat preemptively.
But you're trying to do that in like a fight. So, like, I know it's 60 seconds, but by the time the fight is sat down, you could be in round 7, the fight is knackered.
Yeah.
By the time they've sat down, you've got about 40 seconds maybe to play with. And then you've got to prioritise which bit of the face you're going to go to first. I mean, they could have an absolutely awful gash on the cheek.
Yeah.
But if I can see he's got a cut just under here that's going into his... I'm prioritising that. And then this one can wait. He needs to be able to see. If he can't see, he doesn't know what he's hitting. And then you've got to contend with the inspectors climbing all over you on the ropes. Even the guys with the fucking microphones on TV. Honestly, we had a moment in Bournemouth earlier this year. I was working with Amir Abu Baker, and there is a moment where you can sort of... You might be able to see it on the TV, and I've sort of just punched this boom mic out of the way. And I even said to the guy that was operating it, like the round before, I said, look, you're getting in my way. My guy's cut, I need to work. And he just kept hitting me on the head. I had a cap on. In the end, he was just like, fuck this. And I told him when I got off the ring, and I think to stop putting the microphone in there in the end. Sometimes you've just got to be a prick about it. And to get your work done, you've got to be... Some corners are absolutely fine. I mean, you get the odd coach sometimes that he wants to be the one seen on camera, and very rare that is, though. Very rare. Most coaches say to you, Jack, if you need to get in, you tell me you need to, because you can only have one person in the ring.
Okay.
So sometimes we have to get in the ring. We can't just do it from the ropes. Yeah. So yeah, there's a hell of a lot more to what people think there is to our job.
Mate, it's opening my eyes now.
It's not a week goes by where I don't get a message saying, like, I want to get into the cut game. And I am all for people learning the correct ways of looking after fighters.
So let's pull it back. How did you get into the cut game? Because you've mentioned that you used to box yourself.
Yeah.
Let's go all the way back. I think you've explained well what you do.
Yeah.
What I want to do now is find out a bit about you.
Okay.
So let's dial it all the way back as far as is relevant.
Okay.
And sort of explore that journey, I guess, as to your journey as a fighter, how you then transitioned into being a cutman, because it's like something happened there for you to go from that to that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking about like my journey as a fighter. It was a very short one, a very, very short one. I think I must have been about 10, maybe 11 years old. And I remember going to Wolverhampton Boxing Club with a friend of mine. So it was Tomo's gym back then. And it was just, I've got to be honest with you, I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I still remember the first time I sparred, and I didn't want to go back. I still remember the first time I got hit, and I was making all sorts of excuses not to go back. But then I used to go to my friend's house for dinner, and his dad would be like, right, come on then, we're going to go down the boxing club and stuff like that. And I know my dad liked the fact I was going. He's told me in years since, him and my mother used to have arguments about me going to the boxing club. So I must have had some sort of pull towards it as a young man. Must have done. But as time went on, I started to enjoy it a bit. I felt good about myself, and this is when I was about 12ish maybe. A couple of skills bouts. And then crazily enough, I started playing cricket at high school, and it turned out I was okay at cricket. So then I started playing cricket instead, left the boxing behind.
I've always fucking hated cricket, mate.
I wasn't a fan either. I remember playing my first few games for my high school. I didn't even know the fuck. I just knew, hit it as far as I fucking can, bowl it as fast as I fucking can. And it was really weird, actually. It was a strange switch over.
You say that, though, hand-eye coordination, boxing to cricket. I mean, I know it's a different discipline completely, but...
Yeah, it's completely different. Like the way that the cricket, they were feeding me as well.
Your reactions, though, mate, have got to be on point.
To a degree, yeah. But again, I probably wasn't very good at cricket either, because that never went anywhere. So, in my late teens, I just, as you do, boobs and booze sort of as a young man, and I think I took boxing back up again when I was about 19 or 20. Nothing serious. I didn't really have any intention of competing. And again, I was on and off with it, but I was keen. So I'd finish my session and then I'd be in there with the carded boxers and I'd be helping them out. And you'd be amazed how many boxers can't wrap their fucking hands properly, which baffles me. It's like a footballer not being able to tie the shoelaces. There again, this day and age, that's probably quite a lot of them. But
Well, they've all got football boots with no laces.
That's
no
what I mean,
jacks,
yeah.
so just slip-ons, aren't they?
But I was very keen. I just used to love being around the lads. I just loved the environment. It was a nice place to be. And like I say, I wasn't playing cricket at the time. I didn't really do anything else. And I just started taking it upon myself to help wrapping their hands. Then I discovered how they do it in the pros with the tape and the gauze. And it was a very, very slow process where I probably didn't even realise I was learning what I was learning. Like I say, I think most cut men, cut women, they just, it happens by accident, I think.
Okay.
I don't know many people, probably since COVID it's become a fashionable job. There's a lot of people now that they want to know how to get into it and that, but yeah, I think a lot of people, they had some sort of other experience in boxing, and like I say, it was just pure accident. And then it got to the point where I'd be at the sparring sessions and looking after the faces and that, and just sort of moved into working with a few of the amateurs and stuff, did a little bit of coaching here and there. I haven't done that for a long time. So it was just a very organic journey, and I just happened to end up where I'm at now.
Let me pause there a moment to address all of the painters and decorators in the room. Have you heard about the UK's first independent painting and decorating awards, the Golden Finish Awards? If not, go and check them out. This is your opportunity to be recognised for your skill. The first UK independent painting and decorating awards, not associated to a brand, purely associated to your skills. We're looking to recognise the exceptional skills shown in the painting and decorating industry. Jobs of all sizes and skill sets are there to be recognised. Check out the categories we've got on offer. There are 25 different categories within painting and decorating that you can get involved in. Check out the website at www.gfawards.co.uk and you'll see all of the categories that you can enter. And get ready for what is going to be the painting and decorating industry's event of the year for 2026. Now let's get back to the episode. Seems like it's an easy, not easy, wrong word, but it's something that you've slid into. With the cuts and all, is there any kind of medical training do you have to do?
No. So we get confused quite... There was a period where I was working like unlicensed stuff, and some of it was quite frankly underground stuff, if I'm being completely honest. And we do get confused. We used to get people say to us, well, do we need a medical team because you're there? I'm like, absolutely fucking yes.
Yeah.
Like...
So you don't do any of the aftercare stuff?
No.
After the ring when they're getting stitched up?
Our insurance doesn't cover that. If you're paying me to come into your court, you're paying me to prolong the fight, which probably goes against everything ethical about being a medical professional, really. They're looking for reasons to maybe stop the fight here and there.
Got you.
My job's to
keep you in
it. Don't get me wrong, sometimes we do. We pull rank and we say, look, come on. We'll sort of give the corner a look and say, come on then. And they'll stop it in the corner, maybe. Not very often that happens. But
what would be a criteria to make you do that? Like, what's the worst injury you've seen in terms of cuts?
If fluid's coming out of the ear.
What does that mean?
It could be cerebral fluid.
Okay.
So if there's fluid coming out of the ear, just no. If there is anybody that is competing and your corner allows you to carry on, and they see that, they're not looking after you at all. So that's one example where, like, I've sort of pulled rank and I've said, no, this needs to stop now. And I can only really recall one occasion that happened.
Thankfully, that is a
rarity. Yeah, absolutely. Look, the British Border Control, for all its... it does have its downsides. I'm not going to sit here and hammer the Border Control because at the end of the day, I don't want my licence taken away from me, but... they're one of the best. They are one of the best in the world. The fighters are looked after. It's very rare, thankfully, that anything like that happens. That's on the corner to do. 99 times out of 100.
Well, what's the worst injury that you've seen in the ring that you haven't? Aside from, what's the worst cut that you've had to deal with?
I'm not going to pick. We get some bad cuts anyway. The most challenging corner I've ever had to do was an Italian called Giovanni Carpentiere, and this was a bare knuckle show. There's videos of it online somewhere. I know it went viral as well. And this man's face was just, it was like a plate of meat. He was fighting a French fella whose name escapes me, unfortunately. And it was a belter of a fight, actually. Gio started like really, really well. Again, used to box pro. He has boxed recently for BKFC in Italy, in Rome. We got halfway through the fight and just he kept coming back. Managed to keep the swelling down to the degree you could see, but then he's bleeding out of one eye. His mouth's starting to swell as well. I mean, it's a 5-round fight, and he got to the end of the fight. I think he lost on a decision in the end. Like I say, we don't watch the fights like everybody else. My aim was to keep him in the fight, and he flew back home the next day, and he was watching Roma play football the next day. Like, I don't even know how he got on the plane because, like, his eye closed. It can't be good for you, like, flying at altitude when you got all that pressure in your head. And that's hands down probably the toughest corner I've done. Most cuts will stop with a bit of hard pressure.
It's the thing with bare knuckle, though, Jack, isn't it? I mean, from a business perspective, you transitioning to bare knuckle makes all sense in the world because that's where the cuts are. But it's every shot can open somebody up.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't actually worked a corner in bare knuckle for quite a bit now, so it's mostly been wraps for the last 12 months that I've done. Which, again, in bare knuckle boxing, it's a bit of an art in itself. And I'm still learning, when it comes to bare knuckle, still learning. Not every fighter wants their hands wrapped a certain way. You've got to keep it within the rules. For it to be bare knuckle, you can't have anything near the knuckles.
Does that mainly to protect the wrist? Or?
Wrist, and you want to try and keep the carpals in a straight line as well. So there's a lot of different techniques you can use when it comes to wrapping hands. We'd be here all day. But with regards to bare knuckle and the cuts and stuff, it can look very gruesome. We use adrenaline. We're allowed to use adrenaline just like we are in pro boxing. So you put adrenaline on a cut.
Adrenaline on a cut?
So it's epinephrine, 1 to 1,000 dilution of adrenaline. So you get rid of the excess, get the adrenaline on, stops the bleed, hopefully. And then you sort of fill it in with, use your Vaseline, a bit of a polyfill.
I've got to admit, mate, from like a spectator or a fan perspective, all I've seen is sort of like I've seen the end swells going on, and then it just seems to be like lumps of Vaseline. But I guess you've got to be careful.
Some people, that is what they do, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
There are some substandard Cutmen about. But even as simple as like stick your Vaseline in your ice bucket, keep it cold.
Yeah.
If you keep the Vaseline cold, it's like clay when it comes out. Like I said, it's like polyfiller.
Yeah.
Mix a bit of adrenaline in with the Vaseline if it's allowed. Sometimes it's not allowed. You see little tricks. We had an Eastern European corner at one of the shows I was working recently, and the coach was squeezing hemorrhoid ointment into. It works as a hemostatic.
Okay.
So he was squeezing hemorrhoid ointment into his Vaseline and mixed it up. The inspectors just sort of double took it. Whoa. That's not allowed.
Yeah.
But to be fair, if he'd have done it before we got there, nobody probably would have noticed. So,
and I mean, so I'm assuming here then, Jack, you're working with fighters. Do you get flown out to various places?
I haven't done. I've worked with. I worked in Poland in 2025. I'd love to get out to Saudi at the moment. I'm not going to sit here and say anything purely from a monetary aspect.
Poland got a big bare knuckle scene, haven't they?
I didn't work bare knuckle. It was kickboxing.
Okay.
I don't know. I think there's a company called Gromda there.
Raf was telling me about that the other day.
So that's a bare knuckle company.
So he was saying about their rules that there's no judges in terms of it don't go to a decision. I'm sure he said
has to end by stoppage.
Yeah,
which I'm not.
Was it 3? No, what did he say? 5 rounds, 4 2-minute rounds, and the 5th round is until stoppage.
I know it's run well though. Like that's not me sitting here and saying Gromda's. I don't know much about Gromda, but I know it's run well. I do know it's run well. And it's just a different culture over there. Like when I went to Poland this year, it was professional kickboxing. Kickboxing in mainland Europe, massive. Didn't realise. Netherlands, Belgium, Eastern Europe. Kickboxing's huge. And it was a really, really good show that Raf was on. It was fantastic, really well produced. It was on TV there. Really, really enjoyed it. But as far as bare knuckle there, no, I've no experience working bare knuckle there. Hopefully I'll be doing more stuff abroad this year.
When you said that Safehands is what, 2023?
it'll be. I think it's 2 years this week.
Mate, there you go. I mean, listen, as
Don't
a
get me
business,
wrong. I've been working in the game for a long, long time now. I was working in pro boxing briefly, probably around. I mean, I had my last. I fought on the unlicensed circuit for a period, and my last fight was 2017, I think. And I was doing this sort of around the same, like I was doing it sort of intermittently alongside it, and sorry, I forgot where I was going with that then.
all right, you'll come back to it. So you got 2020. I mean,
We was talking about that. Yeah, I've been working in it for a long time. We'll cut that bit out. So I've been working in it for quite a while. So unlicensed boxing, briefly pro boxing, like I was saying, and then it just seemed prudent to just sort of. But I was getting all my work just under my name, which was unusual. Most cut people, they have a nickname. I don't have it. Safehands isn't my nickname.
yeah,
I'm never cut. That isn't me. I'm not. Please don't call me Safehands, everybody.
that's your christen now.
That's not my nickname. Just Jack's fine.
Cutman Jack.
See, now this is another one. A lot of people, they just do that. Cutman Bill, Cutman Jim, stuff like that. And I've always made it. In my head, I always never wanted to be Cutman
We're
Jack.
going to have to give Jack a nickname. He needs a Cutman nickname, I think.
It was just Jack's always been absolutely fine. Jack Anthony's not even my real name. My name's Jack Hegarty.
Okay.
So Jack Anthony come about from I was working with kids back in the day, and it was just to protect myself really that I never used my real name. But it just caught on. I became known Jack Anthony among my colleagues. I think the only places now that I'm known as Jack Anthony Hegarty is among my family and in my day job.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of people think that Jack Anthony's not even my real name for everyone that.
So I guess it kind of is your nickname then.
Well, actually, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah,
There you go.
that's
You've
a good way
already
of
got
looking
one.
at it. Yeah.
You already got one. What's your I mean, mate, in terms of being a fight fan yourself, if you could rap and corner anyone, who would it be? Like, who's your
Current.
Do you know what? Live or dead?
Roberto Duran. Straight off the bat, just Roberto Duran. But I'd want it to be the back of his career, so he can tell me everything about what's come before it. Tell me about the Sugar Ray Leonard fights. Tell me about it. Like, I know there's been documentaries about it, but they're not always like fully accurate. They sort of play up to the camera a bit. And you do find that with some of the guys that you see on the TV, it's just what they say on the TV is not always what they actually think. So I'd have loved to have done Miguel Cotto. I loved Miguel Cotto. I did back in the day when I was. You forget how long ago that was, isn't it? Really. So when he was in his pomp, Miguel Cotto, yeah, I absolutely loved watching Cotto. Sergio Martinez, Argentinian, loved him. He was actually based in Spain for a little bit, and he boxed over here at some sports hall at some point early in his career. And then he went on to headline football stadiums in Argentina. And
It's crazy, isn't it? It's like I remember Anderson Silva fought on was it Cage Warriors initially?
Oh, okay.
In the UK, yeah. He had a couple of just fucking destroyed whoever he fought. But again, when he was completely unknown,
I think he's still going as well.
Anderson Silva.
Didn't he just have a on the?
I think he's done some boxing actually recently.
Some of the influencer boxing.
Yeah.
Actually, he wasn't influencer boxing. I think.
Hold on, did he fight?
He was another MMA guy, wasn't he?
Anderson Silva. Oh mate, he was a MMA greatest of all time. Tyron Woodley.
That was on the
he was
Joshua.
MMA.
What's his with the?
What they fought?
So Joshua
boxing.
fought the influencer recently.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Anderson Silva was on the undercard against Tyron Woodley.
Oh fucking hell, man!
I'm sure that.
And Anderson Silva must be mid-40s now.
Potentially, what you find is with some of these like Cubans, Brazilians, and stuff. Their age isn't what the stated is.
There's a guy, MMA guy. Do you know Yoel Romero?
He's signed for BKFC now.
Mate, that guy. I mean, I know Joe Rogan talked about him a lot, but he's because he's Cuban, isn't he? And they were like, he's got to be a genetic experiment.
He's a specimen.
Like, mate, I think they've done like bone density measurements on him, and he's just off the charts.
I'm pretty sure he's signed. I don't know if he's fought for them yet, but I'm pretty sure he's signed for BKFC in America.
If there's one guy I wouldn't want to get hit by, it would be him. Like he's like the comic book physique, but just explosive. It was always the same with MMA. He was just explosive power.
Yeah.
And he could sort of just lull around for a lot of the fight and then just bang, it's over. But yeah, scary dude.
Yeah, I'm almost positive he's going into bare knuckle now.
I think you're right.
I think
I know with Yoel Romero, because he doesn't need to fight anymore, he made a shit ton of money. I might be wrong with my facts here, so no libel cases, but I'm pretty sure he won a huge lawsuit against the UFC for they claimed he'd failed a test and he hadn't. There was some error and he sued them for like libel or defamation, that kind of thing.
Getting into all sorts of politics now.
And his payout was huge.
Yeah.
So like retirement money. Yeah. So then from there, he's then gone and it's almost like he's just playing.
Yeah.
You know, I'll give this a try, I'll give that a try. But yeah.
Wow. I don't know if I'd heard about that one.
So I'm pretty sure.
Tested positive, but then it was a wrongful test.
Yes, but the UFC published it. And basically,
so it's defamation.
Yeah, so they like aired it and was like, yes, Yoel Romero has failed.
And he proved it wasn't the case.
Yeah, and then he won a big, and that was the last time he ever fought for them. So he won a shitload of money, never fought for UFC again. But he's, again, I mean, I might be wrong on the ages, but I'm sure he's approaching 50.
Wow.
He's because he was quite old when he started. I remember, because he was like Cuban wrestling. Was where Romero started,
what you find
wasn't
with
it?
a lot of the Cubans, heavyweight boxer, Luis Ortiz. Everybody involved in boxing is convinced he wasn't the age he said he was. So, like, he was listed at like 40, and everyone was like, you can add another 10 years to that.
Yeah.
Easily. So, I think pro boxing's outlawed in Cuba.
Oh, really?
So, what you find with all the Cubans is they sort of illegally migrate to America. And then that's where they turn pro. So you had Yuriorkis Gamboa, very, very good amateur. Guillermo Rigondo, fantastic. So he was like Lomachenko before Lomachenko come along. Mario Kindelan, fantastic amateur boxer back in the day. I don't think he ever turned pro. He's the guy who beat Amir Khan. 2004 Olympic final. Masterful boxer. He never did. But there again, I think the state paid him ridiculous money to stay there. He was bought properties, everything. He was lauded as a bit of a hero, I think. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case.
Funny old place, Cuba, isn't it? The way that it's like they've still got that trade embargo, and America have just
it's
shut them down. And I mean, really, Cuba just got caught in the middle of an argument between Russia and America, didn't they? That's what happened.
There's still a lot of pro sports people that can't do what they do professionally there. It's just, I know that there's boxers that can't turn professional there.
I wonder why would pro boxing be outlawed?
Don't know. Well, MMA was illegal, I think, in France until... So they had the first show in France, didn't they? It wasn't even 5 years ago, I think.
I think this is it, mate. Over the
pro boxing was banned in, I think, Norway.
Well, MMA, I mean, Christ, obviously the UFC have been trailblazers, but MMA it's not even been that long since that was. I mean, they were still fighting for like licensing places like New York, because they wanted to put on Madison Square Gardens and stuff, and New York wouldn't allow it for a long time. Like the UFC has done huge amounts for the pro boxing scene, for MMA, mixed martial arts scene. I personally, my belief is the wider acceptance of MMA has led to the rise now of bare knuckle, because I think society in general, mate, one, we're getting desensitised to a lot of violence, and we're always looking for more extreme, and I think that personally is what MMA, people haven't got bored of it, I don't mean that, but people have got used to it, to the extent that MMA used to be the novelty. It was like, whoa, you know, everyone was boxing fans, and now you're seeing people kicking people in the head and knocking people out, and that was this big, like, shit kind of thing. But I think people have kind of got used to watching this now. The likes of, you know, you turn on social media and all you're seeing is violence and people getting, you know, knocked out left, right and centre. And I think the bare knuckle, what that's done, it's brought the blood to the scene.
Yeah.
Which it's getting that reaction again that people are like, oh.
It's like we spoke about earlier. I think bare knuckle, it's very akin to what MMA was 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it will. Like, I think once it gets its big McGregor.
Oh, there's a reason McGregor's invested in it, mate, isn't there? He's not, for everything McGregor is, he's not a daft bloke when it comes to business.
I do think that bare knuckle will have that boom.
You got any insight into who the potential McGregor could be? Have you seen any up and comers?
you know what? Connor Tierney sells some tickets. Connor Tierney does sell some tickets. He's very well known in Birmingham now.
Yeah,
he's really pushing it. He wants to fight at the stadium. He does.
And so he should.
How realistic that is, I don't know. I have no idea. But
it's a strange. Is it BKFC? Because Connor Tierney is the European BKFC champ, isn't he? But isn't there a world?
I don't know if he's the UK or European. Forgive me. But yeah, I think
because the guy, it's Julian Lane, isn't it? That's the world.
When and if he does fight for the world title, they would be silly not to bring the champion over here.
Oh mate, it'd sell out St Andrews, I'm sure.
He sold a lot of tickets in Birmingham. That was definitely one of the biggest audiences for bare-knuckle that's been seen. Manchester recently, the AO Arena, that was a big audience. I mean, that's a big arena, that is.
Yeah.
That was a big arena.
You'd have the support of the city, mate, I think, if they brought it to somewhere like St Andrews.
Yeah. I hope it does happen. I really do hope it does.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, I remember Julian Lane from the UFC days because he was in The Ultimate Fighter and he had that viral moment, didn't he? That whole "let me bang" thing. Have you seen that?
No.
So you know the Ultimate Fighter house that they did for UFC.
I think I do. And the coaches used to fight each other at the end.
Yeah. So it's basically like a reality show, mate. They'll get two of the current UFC fighters who normally got a bit of beef between them. Like McGregor's done it. He's been one of the coaches, and then they'll stick 15, 20 lads into one of these houses. Like they let them drink and all sorts, but
wow.
Yeah, so you imagine, mate, 15...
Basically Big Brother with a bit of violence chucked in there.
Big Brother, but all the contestants are MMA fighters looking to prove themselves and make a name. Wow. And at the end of, like, the winner gets a contract, whatever it is, like a 3-fight contract with the UFC. Other people from the seasons end up getting signed, like the characters. But Julian Lane was on one of those... See, there's been... I don't know how many seasons of The Ultimate Fighter now. It was like where Bisping started. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. I'm pretty sure he won his season of The Ultimate Fighter because he was one of the early ones.
British world champion?
Yeah. British middleweight, wasn't he? Yeah, incredible run, Bisping. I mean, fight. And he won the title with one eye.
Oh, one of his eyes?
He lost.
Is one of his eyes like that?
Yeah, he's completely no vision. In it, he had a detached retina injury. And he managed to, because I've read his book and all sorts, he basically blagged the UFC that he could see because he was getting sight tests here in the UK. I remember reading his book and he literally said he went for a sight test here in the UK. And of course, they weren't looking at it from a point of he's trying to prove he can see. They were looking at it the other way around. So he literally said that when he went for the test, they left him in the room with the board. So he just memorised it, and then when they come back and covered his bad eye, covered his good eye, he just blagged it and memorised the lines and read them out, and they were like, oh yeah, he's got vision. So yeah, he had an injury. I'm trying to think what fight it was in. It was during it was Vitor Belfort. So Bisping fought Belfort when...
Is this early that? I remember him winning the title. I think it was against Rockhold.
It was, yeah. So he beat Rockhold for the title. This was prior to that. That's what I'm saying. He won the title with one eye. Because when he fought Belfort...
Did he come in on like 2 weeks' notice on that as well?
The Rockhold one?
I'm sure he came in on very short notice.
Bisping was always in incredible
I just remember
that.
Yeah. I just remember when it happened. And just in all combat circles in this country, it just went boom.
Yeah.
Like this guy is the first British world champion in UFC, which at the time... was the power, I know it's more of a powerhouse now, but it was still that was the go-to MMA promotion, wasn't it? I just remember it being on it was on the back pages of the papers.
He had some incredible fights, but he fought Belfort, and where he got the eye injury, I'm sure it was Belfort, but that was back when the whole TRT thing was still. So you had like Dan Henderson, Vitor Belfort, that were juiced to the gills on TRT, and it was legal at the time.
Right, okay.
It's banned now, but they were allowed to have like hormone replacement therapy, and then strangely, all of these UFC fighters had low test, so they were all on.
What was that part of the rules, or did they have it on like a TUE?
I'm not sure, but I remember watching. So Vitor Belfort, you know Vitor is,
yeah.
So the visual on him was like he went from looking like Superman, while he was allowed TRT treatment, to then looking like he should have looked for like a late 30s, early 40s kind of bloke. But when Bisping fought him, he was fully on the TRT. Because Dan Henderson did the same thing as well.
I know that some sports you get what's called a T. They call it a therapeutic use exemption.
Something like that.
You used to get
there
it
was.
You used to get it in cycling and stuff. Like even some inhalers, they have substances that are on the ban list.
It was therapeutic, and I think they had to prove that their test levels were below a certain point. But then all of a sudden they were getting juiced to the level of like an 18-year-old lad.
I remember there was a scandal in cycling. I remember at one point swimming. It's happened as well, and they do it under a T. Sometimes it is, like I said. I know that there are so we have to do as part of our licensing for pro boxing. We have to do a UCAD anti-doping sort of course, and it just constantly tells us we're as responsible as the fighters that we work with as well. Which I don't know. How are we supposed to know what the tech is? I'm not the coach. You know what I mean? I'm still not sure why we had to do that one, but there's a big part on therapeutic use of exemptions and stuff, and some of the everyday items that inhalers was the one that got me.
Inhalers.
So some of them are asthmatic.
Yeah.
Some sports, some inhalers, it will have a substance in there that's on the ban list. So they have to get a TUE. They have to get a permission to.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it ever come up in a test, it's on record as to why.
It was. I mean, I guess it's the early evolutions of UFC. It's changed now. Like I say, I know that they can't. Whatever it was they were doing, they can't do. But yeah, so he damaged his eye in that fight, and then fought. I don't know whether it was 6 fights with one eye, and he blagged it. So the UFC thought he could see, but he had no vision at all in his damaged eye. When he won the title.
I know in the UFC it's a bit like boxing. So here we have the British Border Control. Over there it's state by state. So each state has a commission. And I know some states are a little bit more lenient than others. Like there's some fighters that they only fight in certain states.
Absolutely,
so
mate,
was that the case with Bisping in his eye? So like some states would be a bit iffy about it? Or?
I don't think so, no. Because the UFC were under the impression he could see.
Right, okay.
So he'd managed to blag his test. They'd got him tests. But because the people doing the test thought that he was trying to find out from the other way. So he was trying to blag it that he could see. But the test was from the other position, like they were trying to find out whether he could see for his benefit. And he just blagged the test, like he said. He put in his book, but they left him in the room and he just memorised the chart. And then he got the sign off saying, like, oh, yeah, you're fine. You can see out of it.
Bloody hell.
So, yeah, it was incredible. But the fact that he did that and won that bout in that condition.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, actually. There's a current UFC fighter who's one of these Dagestani blokes. They call him the Pirate, I think it is. I think I'll try and pronounce his name.
They don't even call him boys Shara Bullet.
Yeah, that's it, Shara Bullet.
I was talking about him to a colleague of mine at BK. So Jace Fielding, I work with him at BKFC. He works with UFC, so he's done a lot of the shows in the Middle East. And June he went to Azerbaijan, I think it was, and I think
that guy can only fight in certain places.
I think he was on that show.
He has got the one eye, and they're aware he's got one eye. And they've just found that.
Well, you say they're aware. You can see one of his eyes isn't functioning. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And he can only get commission to fight in certain places.
Frightening. Frightening.
But he's he's done.
But saying that, I was going to say he's actually meant to be pretty handy, isn't it?
Yeah, incredible striker. From what I gather, I think he lost his last fight, but they put him in against a grappler. Is how top of my head.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The politics in fights.
As you can tell, I'm a bit of a fight fan myself, so we could go off on a whole. We could spend the whole episode talking about fighting. What I do want to do, mate, is find out a little bit more about you, about the man behind Safehands. Because I know you've been through some shit yourself, mate. We've talked a little bit off camera, and I'm also interested in the job that you used to do, because I think you don't do that anymore.
No, I've got a bog standard office job now. Semi-retirement compared to what I used to do.
Semi-retirement. Are you hoping, I mean, to jump forward again, are you hoping the Safehands work will become the full-time?
The short answer is, yeah, I'd like for that to happen. If it does, is another story. I was working part-time. I was at the point where I could go part-time in my day job. 2025, as good as it was from a professional point of view, on a personal level, I suppose the word would be challenging.
You said 2025 then, and was. I was like, fucking, that's still this. But no, yeah, no, we're 2026 now,
January
mate.
the 3rd,
Got to get used to that one, mate. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it was. I mean, even now, it's still challenges now, but it's better than it was. In my personal life, I had a breakdown of a relationship. The kid's mum. It wasn't straightforward circumstances anyway. My son's. He's just been diagnosed as autistic, but for a long, long time we weren't. I know I wasn't sure. I think I was in denial for a long time. It certainly made me quite poorly for a period when he was younger, but that's something we could probably touch on later on. So yeah, with regards to the work situation, I was part-time up until the summer, and then I had my boxing work, but then separation, had to move out.
So have you gone through the whole process of having to relocate? And
Yeah, I've relocated. I've got my own place now. The equipment side of things for Safehands, which was a bit of a sideline anyway. It wasn't... Safehands for me is what I do for fighters, like directly working with the fighters. The equipment thing came from... Like, it's really difficult for these fighters to get sponsorship. It's an expensive game with licensing equipment and stuff. And I'm watching these lads paying 300 quid for a set of gloves. And I know where these fucking gloves are being made. And I'm like, I know how much it costs to make. I thought, fuck this. I'm going to stop that completely. So I started providing fighters gloves and stuff like that. I was selling them. Good quality gloves. I mean, like, I'll give you a set.
yeah. Like, they will be hung somewhere with pride in the studio. I'm going to find a place. So.
They're really, really... Some of the feedback I've had from fighters at all levels as well. I haven't just attacked the top level. I wanted to get them certified by the Board of Control for use in professional boxing. They wanted $2,000 a model. After what happened this year, that was the intention, but after what happened this year, it just, in the end, financially wasn't viable. I don't have investment. It's all off my own back. Yeah. Everything I do is off my own back.
Do you still sell gloves now?
I do custom gloves.
Yeah.
As far as my own line of gloves, I just haven't had any. I've just made the choice myself not to do it. I just don't think at the moment it's... If people need anything, and I've got it, I'm always happy to anything for the fighters, anything. Probably to my detriment sometimes. Don't get me wrong. I know when people are taking advantage, I'm not a dickhead like that. But 9 times out of 10, the people I work with, you don't even know I'm working with them. So there's a lot of people that you probably spot my logo on their gloves or on their kit, and you think, oh fucking hell, that happened a lot in 2025. People are like, I keep seeing this fucking logo everywhere, and I don't know why I keep seeing it.
There you go, mate. You're putting your face on it now.
Well, that's another thing. It's like that Scooby-Doo moment, you know, like there's like where they pull the mask off the villain, and then people are like pulling the Safehands logo, and it's my head.
Listen, I mean, only getting started in 2023, Jack. Like, sky's the limit. Like, with the way that it's going, with the rise of bare-knuckle, and you're involved with a lot of the lads there. But for any business, mate, most businesses in the first 2 years make nothing. Like,
I haven't. I've not.
They make nothing. But the good point is, if you can survive those 2 years, generally after that, it's growth. So hopefully, mate.
Even if it doesn't grow, Russ, it's fine. I'm happy with. I can sleep at night knowing that I do right by the fighters. I've lost a lot of opportunities I have because I refuse to sell my morals. I just simply refuse to. I've been tempted to. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm perfect. There has been several times where I thought, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to...
In what respect? Like, sell your morals in what way? What would that look like?
I mentioned earlier that the job I do has become quite fashionable all of a sudden. With that comes a lot of substandard workers. A lot of people that they're more concerned about what they do on that and that than what they do with the fighters or what they do behind the scenes that can't be seen. Like, you got people wearing GoPros in the fucking corner and stuff like that. It just honestly, it really irritates me. Like,
wearing GoPros as in looking at the...
While they're working, like, which is fine. Like, if people want to do that, that's fine. It's not a problem. I don't know, it's just not something that sits right with me. I wouldn't be able to do it. So when I say, like, opportunities have sort of passed me by and that, I mean, I've even had people contact me and say, like, this, that, and the other. We've got this potential gig coming up. We'd like to work with you. And then they've said, how many followers have you got? And I'm thinking, yeah, it's just stuff like that. Like, What sort of platform have you got? Like when we collaborate on posts and stuff, and I've just sort of.
Do you know what, mate?
I've ended it there. I don't really. If that's one of your priorities, I understand you need exposure. Absolutely. But if you're hoping for exposure for your Cutman, fucking hell, like you're looking in the wrong direction there.
So in terms of like an organisation looking at who they're going to work with, that could sway them.
Not an organisation as such, no. So like I'm working with BKFC. When that come along, I thought about it. I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna fucking do it. And do you know what? BKFC has probably been the. And I'm saying this as somebody that's said several times now. I'm a glove boxing man. BKFC has been the highlight of 2025 for me. I have absolutely loved working with those guys. Jace, Mark, Frank. My gaffers so we're not actually paid by BKFC. We pay by ISKA, ISKA. So they're sanctioning the shows here. Paul Nichols, he's our gaffer at ISKA. He's there at every show, and he's one of these people as well. I'm not going to sit here and say I know him very well personally, because I don't. But he's so no bullshit and straight to the point. But he's not one of these people that's. You only get some people like that, and it's almost like them a dickhead for the sake of being a dickhead. He's not like that at all. It's just he's what a gaffer should be in this environment. And every show I've done with them this year has just been absolutely brilliant. And hopefully that continues next year. I'd love to just work with them long term. If that's the case, fantastic. If not, I don't rest on my laurels. That's been a great opportunity to come. That to me vindicated. Is that the right word? Vindicated, justified my approach to how I do my work.
Yeah.
So even though it's taken me a long time, there's a hell of a lot of people. They just want to decide they're a Cutman, and they want to be on these big, massive shows in arenas and stadiums. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. You get the odd one that does manage to do that, and they get found out very fucking quickly. But I know for a fact there was a lot of people, when I went back to pro boxing, they thought I was going to drop this facade that I'm all about the fighters. And not fucking once have I done that. And it really, I've just sort of lost my head a little bit there. It really, really pissed me off that I was hearing secondhand that they thought, he'll drop that now. He's just going to go straight for where them. And that's not the case at all. It's really not the case. Everything I do is geared towards the fighters. I have conversations with fighters weekly where they believe what I say, they know what I'm about now. So they feel comfortable enough to come and speak to me about things that maybe they don't speak about to other people, because they're worried about where it might go. If I can give you advice on something, I'll give them the advice. If I can't, I'll try and push them where they can get that. Get that advice. I've never dropped my fighter's first approach ever, and I'm not going to do that. If that means that my career doesn't quite go as far as I would like it to, so be it. I'll sleep easy at night. But
it will in the right places, mate.
I hope so.
It's I think consistency in behaviour like that, mate. It takes a while to get noticed, but eventually it will build you the reputation that will actually take you a lot further than that flash in a pan.
Yeah.
Because like you said, people get found out, and it's that, mate. It's building consistency. There's a saying, isn't there? Like nothing that comes easy lasts, and nothing that lasts comes easy. And you want to build a reputation and a business that lasts in the right way. It's not going to come easy.
But I don't even look at it as business, to be honest. It's just I'm very, very passionate. I do look at it as work, but I'm really passionate about what I do. I love what I do. I'm really passionate about it. I've probably got a bit of a reputation on the circuit for somebody that doesn't. It's not that I don't speak. I'm of the opinion some things just need not be said. And if they are going to be said, it needs to be said at the right time. I don't buy into this, if I got something to say, I'll fucking say it, blah, blah. I don't buy into that. I never have. And I just, hopefully it will blossom into something that, I mean, this is part of why I'm here today. Do you know what I mean? There's still a lot of people that have not got a clue that in essence I am behind Safehands. I've been at shows in the past where they've sort of said, "Oh, have you seen this Safehands? I think it's in the Midlands. I think. Have you come across like this Safehands?" I'm like, yeah. he's all right apparently. Like, and I've sort of done it. I've done it before in front of people who know it's me, and they sort of look at me and say, "You knobhead," like.
Mate, I've got to say though, you've been very, like, obviously Raf and Aaron have both spoken about you to me very highly, and having met those guys and having a lot of respect for them and who they are, if they say you're a good guy, I'm going to believe it.
I try to be.
So, well, take the credit, mate. You're spoken well of by good people, which is always a good place to be.
There's a lot of people that have done it in the past, and they'll say, like, "Oh, can I?" And I'll just say, "No, no." Like, even after fights, sometimes I'm guilty of just sort of scuttling away with my bucket. And they'll be like, "No, get the fuck." Like the last couple of ones I've done, like, "Get the fuck in the ring now. We're having a photo." And I'm like, oh, sort of begrudgingly, I'll have the photo with them. And yeah, it's just never really been in my DNA to be like that. But we were talking about other people that have come into it. That is absolutely what they're about, and there's a potential I could be left behind because of that. Okay, but
Hopefully not, mate.
hopefully not.
And I think, as I say, if you keep moving how you're moving, and associating yourself with the kind of people that you are, which will also be people that will be looked down well upon, then you'll start to grow your reputation in the right ways and the right circles.
Like, Raf and Aaron are just like the tip of the iceberg. Like, I've got a lot of people in the game that I consider. I have a lot of acquaintances, but I also I consider a lot of people that I work with as friends, and I do think there's plenty of people that have nice things to say about me. But that doesn't always mean that you're good at what you do. It doesn't. There's a lot of people who are very, very nice people, but they're shit at painting and decorating. I'm sure you know plenty of them. Do you know what I mean? That's exactly the same in the field I work in as well. And I want to be known for my work rather than my face. I think that's what I've tried to do for the last 2 years. And the Safehands thing, I still don't know why I put the Safehands to me. I was advised many times that you need to sort of. The problem was I was getting work just by my name and word of mouth a bit. Instagram, I got Instagram begrudgingly. But even I have to hold my hands up, and I've got to say, Instagram's been fantastic from a work perspective.
Yeah, mate, listen, I think...
And I still don't know what I'm doing. Shout out Danny, by the way, for everything he does helping me on Instagram, because I'm shite when it comes
any
to
business now, man, and any business, I know you said, it's a business, it's work, it's a job, anything like that. And I think it's one of the things, I mean, listen, speaking bluntly, it's why I'm getting fighters coming on the podcast, because they all know, and I know it's a trade-off, they're delivering value to the platform for me, incredible stories and stuff that we can pass on to help others and inspire others. But I know that underneath it, it's also about building their profile as a fighter and a personality, because when they've got that profile, then it's easier for them to get fights or better fights or more exposure. And it's all part of the game now. And social media and things like platforms like Instagram now, it's a marketing fucking giant, mate.
And the problem is, with that comes a lot of people that don't have the skill, they don't have the talent, they don't have the work ethic. It's seen as a quick fix to a lot of people. And unfortunately, some of those people, they do the slip through the net and they do pretty fucking well. Which, power to them, fair play to you, fake it till you make it if needs be. Well done. That's a skill in itself, I suppose. But
yeah,
that makes it harder for the genuine ones.
I
don't sit it. Again, I'm not going to sound perfect. There's plenty of times that I see people probably working gigs that I'd like to be working, and I think, like, if there was any justice in the world, like. But then I think, no, fine, well done, like, fair play to you. Like, if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't be fucking turning it down at the expense of people who maybe, I don't want to say the word deserve it, better place to do it maybe. There's probably people when I took the gig with BKFC that thought, how the fuck's he got that? But my view on it is you don't know who I am because I haven't allowed you to know who I am. You've probably seen my logo, but you ain't got a fucking clue who I am. I try to let my work sort of speak for me.
Yeah, I agree, mate. It's a real good. It's a good outlook on things. I think doing stuff like this is also a good move for you, just in terms of, I think any business, mate, and I keep referring to it as a business, I know that, but to know the person behind the business is always. I mean, like I take me, totally different industry, painter, and so my business, my bread and butter is painting and decorating. That's my business. It's done me a world of good, and I was quite anti-social media, mate, for a long time. Like I missed the whole, when Facebook took off. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know how many podcasts you've listened to, mate, but long story short, when I was in my 24 to 28, somebody's car alarm going off right outside the studio. See if we can cut that out. 24 to 28, mate, I worked as a bailiff, which was around about the same time Facebook kicked off.
Yeah.
And obviously we were advised, don't go on fucking social media. Yeah. So I missed it. And I missed the initial burst and the initial interest in doing it. And then by the time I got out of it, I was like, yeah, I still don't want to be on social, so I wasn't. And it was only when I met my wife now, so we're talking maybe eight years ago, where she was like, what do you mean you're not on social media? I was like, I don't like it, I'm not on it. And she said, like, business-wise, you're missing a trick. And she was right, 100% right. And one of the things, the feedback I've had from customers, I'm going the long way around the story here, feedback I've had from customers is it's nice because we see you on social media, so we know who you are, we know who's coming to the door, we know how you work, how you look, how you they think they know me before they know me. Yeah. And I would imagine the same thing will benefit you. So if you start getting your face out there and your personality and you're a good guy, it will potentially people.
It has led to that. It has led to that. Again, I'm very thankful that I did. I always had Facebook. I never had MySpace. Well, that's going back some now.
MySpace and Bebo. I was never on them either. So.
I was late to Facebook actually. When we were younger, we didn't have the internet for many years, so we just never did it anyway. But Instagram's it's been brilliant, love, for it from a networking standpoint. It really has been, but it's just juggling that. I call it main. So there's going to be people that are going to hear me say this now that I know, and they're going to roll their eyes at me. I say constant main character syndrome. It absolutely fucking exists, mate.
100%.
And some people that work in the sport, they have to be the main fucking character. They have to be the main character. Which isn't the point. The coaches and the fighters, the fucking hours that they... I mean, look, we put hours into our craft as well to learn how we do what we do to an adequate level. But we're the backing dancers at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? Be the best backing dancer that you can. You don't have to be at the fucking forefront of everything, but unfortunately there are people like that. It does cost some people work though, that does. So they'll go to these big companies like UFC, like they've made it, so to say, and next thing you know, they start trying to add their own seasoning to the broth, and big companies like UFC don't fucking like that at all.
Yeah.
So just do what you pay to fucking do and do it well.
It's the way of the world now, though, Jack. That's the problem. Like the whole main character syndrome. Yeah. I think society in general, it's just kind of like we're told you should be.
I think it makes it easier to see the genuine people, though, because of all these wannabe main characters. I think it's making it easier to spot these genuine people now. There are people that I work with who do the same role as me, and they're fantastic at what they do, man. And they're just, sometimes it's just location. Like I know people up in Scotland that they live in very remote parts of Scotland. One in particular, Cutman Giz. He doesn't get half the work. He probably should. His skills dictate he should be getting a hell of a lot more. But he's from such a remote part of Scotland. He doesn't get it. And then you got other people that. Do you know what I mean? But people like Giz, it was just easy to see from the off that he was a genuine bloke because of all the people that around us as a whole. Come across.
It's a good point, though, mate. You have to have the disingenuous to appreciate the genuine.
It's
you know what I mean? It's like anything, isn't it? You have to have a bad day to appreciate a good day.
I've been very lucky. I've been very, very lucky. Very lucky. I still feel like I'm at the start. I still feel like I can give a hell of a lot more to my craft. To be honest with you, what I've done so far, I mean, I thought I was going to be working all the unlicensed underground shit and I only did it for money. I openly admit that. It was a second income. But I just got sick of it. I got sick of seeing the disingenuous. I got sick of seeing the corners being cut. And I just thought, oh God, I'm going to go back to professionals. Try my hand at it. And I'm still relatively young in it. Eventually I want to manage fighters. I really want to manage fighters. I want to manage careers. I want to help where I can. There's still quite a long way for that to go, but
Well, you sound like you're the perfect person to do that. To be fair, with your outlook on it, if anyone's gonna manage a fighter, to look after a fighter and have their best interests at heart, it's somebody with your moral standpoint.
you got to be able to. You got to have that little bit of a prickish streak, which there's plenty of people that probably attest to it. I'm a bit of a prick on occasion, from a personal standpoint.
A prick on occasion.
A prick on occasion. I'm completely different in my personal life to my professional life, though. I'm a very difficult man to live with. I'm a very difficult man to just fucking be around. I think from a personal perspective. It's my personal life and my professional life. Just
For what reason? Why are you a difficult person to be around?
I don't know. I'm a bit of a stressor, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a stressor. I don't know if it's as a result of like my previous work and stuff like that.
Let's perfect timing, mate. Let's jump into that. Your previous work, because obviously with Safehands, it's a newish thing, and you're part time, so you've got this whole history that we haven't really touched on yet.
Yeah.
So your previous work.
So I'll go back to my childhood. I think it all links in quite well. Didn't grow up in the best of areas. I'm not going to go down that old cliche, fucking, came from the streets. It wasn't like that at all. Absolutely wasn't like that. Rough area, very street,
Whereabouts?
Place called Parkfields in Wolverhampton.
Okay.
Not far from the city centre.
Yeah.
Not a great area. Like, I thought you could go to any area and a pair of trainers would be hanging over the telephone lines. Do you know what I mean? So we were streetwise, but we were raised really well. Like, my mum and dad are good people. We were a bit of a weird family. Like, we're not affectionate in any way. So, like, I see people how they are with their families, and like, if my dad turned around to me and said, I really love you. Like, even if they were pissed or something, that'd be strange to us. We've never been like that. But we were raised really well. But then the schools I went to, I don't know, I was a bit of a tearaway, I think, and I wasn't a nasty kid. I had occasions where I did stuff wrong that I'd love to take back, and probably wasn't nice to some people growing up, vice versa. I had some hard times with some people at school as well. But then secondary school, I was just... My idea of fun just was stupidity. I did some stupid stuff as a teenager. And really... a bit unfair to mum and dad it was, to be honest with you. But then as I progressed through high school, the tables just completely, utterly fucking turned, and I was disqualified from one of the courses I was on in sixth form. I mean, I was lucky they even took me.
I was going to say, so you went through to sixth form?
I had nothing else to go to.
Mate, I did the same. I did the first year. So when I first went to sixth form, they'd just split it. You remember? Because it used to be A-levels, used to be a 2-year qualification. Yeah. Then they split it to AS and A2. I was the first year they did that.
That was exactly what we did, AS.
Oh, you were in the...
So I'm 33.
Yeah. I got 8 years on you, mate.
I'm younger than I look. So first year was AS levels. I didn't even complete it in the end. But I did my GCSEs somehow, got to the end of them. And I just wasn't turning up to any of my sessions.
That sounds exactly like me, Jack.
It got to the point where they said, look, you can only be in sixth form if you do a minimum of 3 courses. So I was doing science, I was doing... fucking hell, what was I doing? I was doing English. Strangely, English was the one that I really fucking hated, but I was the best at. Science and... was it business? Might have been business studies. But anyway, I wasn't turning up to the science one.
Mate, you know, I'm laughing because I'm just thinking back, like my own, I picked, so I did all right GCSEs, mate, and I had the same thing, didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do, so I went in sixth form, and I picked design technology, right, so because I thought making stuff, PE, and history, like 3 random as fuck subjects, but yeah, sorry.
It was, I got kicked off long story short, I got kicked off the science one, I wasn't turning up. And there was a lady there, do you know what? I didn't expect to mention her today. And she's getting on a bit now. I haven't seen her for many years. Her name's Linda Burdett. And I solely credit that woman with keeping me on the straight and narrow in school. Honestly, just... Oh, God, she was the...
Was she a teacher or?
No, she was just a mentor, I think.
Okay.
I don't know what her exact paid title was, but she used to just get lumbered with the dickheads, if I'm being completely honest.
Lumbered with you?
But I made such a connection with this woman. She was an older woman, like she was of, probably grandparent age when I was there. I've seen her twice since I've left school. But still to this day, honestly, I've got so much love for that woman. And when they kicked me off the science course, the idea was, you can't stay in sixth form then, though. And she was like, no, let's do this. Somehow she persuaded them. So the periods I was meant to be in my science classes, I went into the first year 7 classes to help the kids that weren't transitioning very well. Okay. I remember it being put to me, and I just thought, like, first of all, why the fuck would I want to do that? And second of all, like, do I have to? Like, fuck's sake, like, I was really flippant about what I was going to do after school, and I didn't really have any aspirations at all, to be honest with you. That was me. It wasn't because it hadn't been instilled in me. Like, my dad's a hard-working man. He always has been. He's on the tools as well. He's a builder. Mum's always worked. The whole family, very hard-working family. Anyway, I did it. It just turned out I was pretty fucking good at it, really. And I just thought, I could imagine this being a job. Didn't know how to go about it. They did help me out. Somehow I ended up on some childcare-based course at college. So I did leave sixth form in the end, prematurely. But they helped me out in getting on this college course. I was 18. I was the only male. Women of all ages.
I mean, it kind of sounds like a good thing at the time as an 18-year-old lad, Jack.
Honest to God, mate, I haven't got many great memories of it.
Not really.
God, they were vile to each other. Like, I got on with everyone, but my God, even now when I see women call each other, like, babe, I just think back to it, because it's like, 9 times out of 10 when they called each other babe, they've been slagging each other off about 10 minutes before. So I did that, and then one of my placements, I ended up in a primary school. Mainstream, normal primary school. And again, I did really well there, to the point where they said, look, we'd like to take you on. Would you like to work with, like, some of our, like, special needs kids in the early years? I thought, do you know what, I would, yeah. So I'll give it a go. I left college. They put me on another course. They paid for it as well. And it just started from there, really. But I went from working in a mainstream school I moved on to what's called an alternative provision. So worked there a few years, got a bit of a taste for money, and decided I wanted to move on to something different, a bit more of a challenge. Moved on to an alternative provision. So we'd have kids that had been excluded, permanently expelled, multitude of bases across Wolverhampton, taking kids from here, there, and everywhere, all different ages. I've got mixed opinions on how that went. Made a lot of good friends there. Didn't like the way it was run. It most definitely was run as a business, not a charity. It doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, that was quite... Kids constantly attacking you and shit like that, and it was just ridiculous. Like, the physical aspect, you used to go home knackered constantly.
Really?
Yeah, they're just... So what my official title was Community Development Officer. So it was my job to try and find apprenticeships, work placements, sometimes even jobs. So we'd take them to all these jobs fairs and stuff with the older ones. And then halfway through the job, they put me on because I had experience working with primary kids. They opened up a primary centre, put me in there. Jesus Christ, I've never seen anything like it in my life, mate. It was mental. Utter mental.
In what way? Like challenging kids?
Yeah. Some of them were, some of them were absolutely golden. Some of these kids, really troubled, but just beautiful little souls, you know what I mean? Like, and it was upsetting in some aspects. Some of them, I believe that there is, you're a product of your environment, and some of them just grew up in environments that weren't conducive to them flourishing and blossoming, and it was our job to sort of nurture that out of them. And I enjoyed many aspects of it, many aspects I didn't, the business side of things, because basically the schools and the council were paying us to take these kids. We used to find a hell of a lot of them used to come to us when Ofsted came along. So these schools would pay you to take the kids in for a term.
Oh, really? Just to get them out of their school?
Well, it used to be term to term. We used to do it, but then some of them it'd be like, "Oh, we'll pay you for a week," and then it turned out it's because Ofsted was in, which is bad in itself. Really.
Basically, get the kid out of the way.
Yeah,
while we
yeah.
have
Well,
our inspection.
Ofsted's one big fucking sham, to be honest with you, mate. Like, if anybody's looking about getting their kids into schools and stuff like that, just the Ofsted rating, unless like the Ofsted rating's utter garbage, 9 times out of 10, if it's an excellent one, it's purely because they've just done well on those 2 days.
Mm.
And I can tell you that from working in schools as well. Like, when they get the call about Ofsted, everything's different. They're there to 10 o'clock at night preparing for the next day, and it's just not what a normal school day would be. And then, again, I sensed that ship was sort of slowly going down, so they applied to be Ofsted inspected. And I just saw it ain't ready for that. They went through with it in the end. I'd already left at this point, ended up getting closed down. And then I moved on to working in kids' homes. So I was involved in the day-to-day running of some kids' homes in Birmingham. They had kids' homes across the country.
Mm.
I used to train the staff in physical restraint. I had a qualification for that. But that was, again, some of the worst stuff I've ever seen was in the kids' homes. So when I say kids' homes, I don't mean like Mary Poppins. It was tomorrow's nonces, tomorrow's rapists. Like, some of them were like...
Mm.
But unfortunately, in this day and age, there's no such thing as being a bad egg. Everyone can be...
Do you believe there is
What,
a bad egg? Somebody born bad, I guess.
I think it'd be controversial for me to say I believe there's such thing as being a bad egg.
Mm.
As far as just coming out of the womb and you're just inherently bad, I don't know. I think that's a deeper conversation for other people to have. I do believe there's such a thing as just being a bad person.
Mm.
Like I said earlier, some of these kids are just really troubled products of the environment, but some of them were just not nice kids at all. But that's not the attitude that's shared by all.
It's a weird.
So I used to bump
Weird
heads
world,
a lot.
yeah.
I used to bump heads with a lot of them. Some of them, yeah, absolutely. These kids can be worked on. But then there's only so many times you can go to court with the same kid over and over and over and put all this work into them. And then the stuff that they're doing as well, like, you just think like... But they're going to keep doing it though, because they're going to keep making money off them being there.
Mm.
A prime example, we had 2017, we took my dad to Portugal for his 50th. Now, a week before we took him, we'd rejected an application from... It was a referral from Leicester Council. And this kid was only 13. He was on bail for something, like a mugging had gone wrong. Somebody had... I can't remember if the guy had died, but it was touch and go. I think he had a heart attack or something like that. And we rejected it. It wasn't appropriate for the kids that we already had there. I mean, we already had somebody there that had... He was there for inappropriate sexual behaviour and stuff like that. So we just didn't think it'd be right. You know, we can't be doing with anything at the moment that's that high level.
Mm.
Came back from Portugal. It had been accepted, hadn't it? So the higher-ups had come in. I was off. Someone else was off. Come back. Apparently the council had paid for 2 beds so that we'd have him. And it's just run as a... It's just one big business.
Took the money over the what was the right thing to do.
Just, but it's worse now than ever. I mean, I'm going back to 2018ish, 2017ish, yeah.
Right.
And it's just it's probably worse now than it ever was. I mean, I left the kids out. I don't know how there were people there that had families.
Mm.
Now, I didn't have a family at the time, and I struggled with it. Like, I'd never been able to do that with a family. And I've got the utmost of respect for the people that do it. So the residential workers, well, I want to say the managers. Some of the managers are the biggest villains in that business, but some of the managers are genuine people. And there just came a point where I thought, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do it. And I just thought, so I left. I ended up going to like behaviour units in secondary schools and stuff like that. And then it just slowly fizzled. As COVID come, I just thought, you know what, I've had enough of this now. My partner at the time, she was pregnant with our son. He was born in the November of 2020, so middle of COVID, middle of the second lockdown. And I just decided enough's enough, put in my notice and applied for the job I have now. Luckily, I got it. And
Was that so? Working in the kids' homes and working with troubled kids and that, was that a job that you didn't feel you could do once you had
I didn't
your
agree.
son?
Again, it was from a moral standpoint. Half of it was a moral standpoint, and half of it was a personal standpoint. I just thought there was going to come a point where they were just going to tell me to go, basically, because there's only so many times you can butt heads with the gaffers in any job, isn't there? I just thought this just ain't happening. The pay wasn't great either. I just thought, why am I doing this? Like, I'm here trying to do the right thing for the kids, and you're fucking overriding me constantly and telling me I'm wrong. And I just thought, you know what? No, I ain't fucking doing this anymore. Like, the age I was at that time as well, I was coming out of my mid-20s, and I thought, I ain't doing this. I ain't doing it anymore. And it just got to the point, I got sick of going for tetanus jabs. I got sick of being fucking attacked. I got sick of being spat at. And
tetanus jabs? You're talking about being bitten and stuff?
Yeah, it was constant. They'd bite you and shit like that. And even though we were trained in restraint and stuff, but then it got to the point where, like, all of this stuff you're seeing online, like people attacking people with weapons and stuff, they were sneaking, like, they were making sharp-ended objects, and they were threatening stuff with sharp. And I thought, you know what, I don't want anything to do, because if somebody's going to threaten you with a sharp-ended object, how many techniques on a physical restraint course is going to protect you there? Like,
You're one
I know what I'd probably do to protect myself.
Yeah.
But then who's at fault? Like,
yeah,
they ain't all of a sudden they ain't at fault, and I just thought, and that happens in these places as well. So we'd hear about it. It happened in places in the Midlands, and I thought, I just don't want to be the next person involved in something like that. So I just got out while I could, and timing was everything. I truly believe in. I don't believe in. I'm not superstitious. I don't believe in fate.
Tough job to do that, mate.
I just thought, I've got a kid on the way. The referrals we used to read as well. Yeah. Like, just thought, like, this exists in our world. Like, some of the stuff, I'm not going to go into, like, some of the stuff, but I just thought, I can't do this anymore. And
it's a weird thing, mate, isn't it? Because particularly our country and our culture, or the way the government set up, is the protectiveness offered to people under the category of because it's a kid. I've got my own views on it in terms of those that can be helped and those that can't. Because like you quite rightly said, some people are misguided and they're the product of their environment. But I think you can always see that. You can see the good in people, like the glimmer of, all right, let's work on that, let's bring that out. I personally do believe that some people are just inherently fucking wrong-uns. That there's no helping them, that we're going to shelter and protect them until they do something so horrific. But somebody's got to be the victim of that. You've only got to look at, there's some high-profile cases of, you know, I mean, I've studied psychology, for one. So I did a psychology degree. Didn't finish it, by the way, because I got to the point where it turned out it was a fucking waste of time. But interestingly, one of the case studies we actually studied was like the Jamie Bulger murder.
Yeah, which...
and those two and the behaviours.
As you can imagine, that used to... Every training course we did.
Of course, yeah.
Bulger, Victoria Climbier, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The FGM ones, fucking hell, they were fucking awful, some of them.
And look, mate, I mean, hopefully... These are very rare circumstances, but those outliers do exist, as in the people committing those atrocities. They do exist, and are they helpable? No, I don't think they are. People
committed those crimes, though, even though they're adults now, they're still fucking doing it.
Exactly.
It's on record. One of them, isn't it? They've come out and they've done new stuff.
Yeah, I think with that situation, that the two lads were given new identities. I believe the one is still out, but the other one, when he got arrested for child images and all sorts, and you know, they're just corrupt souls that to me can't be helped.
I didn't want to go as far to say, like, you used the word inherently, and I didn't want to go that far. I just think the easiest way I could, but I believe that there's such a thing as a bad egg. Just not everyone shares that view, which is fine. Look,
I agree with you, mate.
If people want to be pragmatic and power to them. I just think there comes a point in your life where you're kidding yourself, and if you're going to continue to kid yourself, you're going to start kidding the people around you or your own children and stuff like that. And there just came a point for me where I just thought, I'm not buying into this bollocks anymore, and I want out. So like when I left there, like I ended up doing agency for about 6 months. I did agency work. I got a job with Timpson briefly. I did a little bit of locksmithing work when I was younger. Like Timpson let me go because I couldn't mend a fucking shoe.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter how much you know about locks and keys and how many cars you can pick. Like, no, you can't mend this piss battered shoe that some old geezer doesn't want to part with. So we're gonna have to let you go. I was like, fucking hell. Like, that was one of the lowest points of my life. That was when Timpson let me go. So they basically let me go, and Mrs. was pregnant. I was like, fucking hell, what's a man got to do here? It wasn't really working in the boxing at that point either. Mental. Just luckily, I got this job when I applied. The job I've got now when I applied for it. And then it's led to all the box. I've been able to do the boxing stuff on weekends.
Obviously,
crazy times, mate.
Your son's come along, and I know you touched on earlier how you became ill around the circumstances around your son, who you now said has been diagnosed with autism. Can we touch on that? Like, what happened, or how did you become ill, or what created that?
I suppose ill probably isn't. It's probably not the right term to have used. You know, when people say just like having kids changes your life, and which is lovely to hear, Matt. Like, it really was, and I still feel guilty about this. I just don't think being a parent suited me at the time. Like, it still upsets me now. Like, I just don't think I took to being a parent very well.
But do you know what?
Not out of selfishness, not out of... I just wasn't very good at it. And then when he started walking, it sort of became apparent something wasn't quite right. He started self-harming. He'd bend down on the floor, he'd smash his head off the floor, he had to have an helmet and stuff like that. Then he wasn't talking. Like, there was a point, like, he was completely mute. Like, up until 18 months ago, 2 years ago, he wasn't even saying words. He still hasn't had a conversation with anybody. He doesn't have conversations. He was running around with his tablet this morning. He's into Mickey Mouse's clubhouse at the moment, but he does the same 10 seconds constantly. Oh boy, let's go to the bake sale. Oh boy, let's go to... On repeat, fucking hours and hours and hours. Then he's got the match of the day theme on. The same 10 seconds of the match of the day theme. Then it's EastEnders. He's just got a fucking tipping point. But it's the same 5 or 10 seconds constantly. So it's pretty autistic behaviour, I suppose. So he's copying words, which we never thought he'd be able to do. But there was a period where, like I say, I probably didn't take to it very well. I was a bit of a stress head. And for some bizarre reason, I don't know what it was, I've never really spoken about this, really. So I'm probably not going to articulate myself very well here. So I just want to pre-warn, just in case that is the case. And the doc sort of described it as like a ghost PTSD or something like that. So what was happening was I was having really awful dreams or becoming like spaced out and stuff, but they were so vivid, like it was even down to the streets, like around where I lived, and I was imagining like really bad things happening to my son. Really, really bad, like graphically bad things happening to my son. And like the kid's mother, she was like, Jack, this isn't right, man. Like, you need to go and speak to somebody. Because like it was intrusive. I was getting irrational. That's probably the better term to use. Yeah. Really irrational thinking. Like,
do you think...
I thought that was normal, just becoming a parent. It was just like, oh, you just become overprotective. And it wasn't. Like, I was going away for work sometimes, and I was just having these awful, especially when I was on my own, it was even worse.
Do you think, though, mate, tying it back to what you used to do and the things you used to see...
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I remember, funnily enough, actually, shout out to Hayley, Spin Justice podcast. She said the same, because obviously she used to work in the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
And with her kids, she said she went through this phase of like, she used to just suspect everybody was a wrong 'un because of all the horrific stuff she was exposed to and the stories and the people that she was exposed to.
Yeah. It was sort of a different level, mine was. It was... like, I haven't really gone into, like, so I spoke about the referrals we used to get, and I haven't really gone into it. It wouldn't be right for me to do that on camera. It wouldn't be right. I mean, we touched upon it before we come on air and stuff, but mine was more like just freak accidents.
Okay.
Or, like, really, really, like, graphic stuff. And it was making me a little bit poorly, really. but to the point I just wasn't nice to be around. Like, I fell out with my family, no end, no end. And I like to think I'm an easy guy to get on, but I wasn't. And I remember having a really big fallout with a particular family member, and went for months without speaking to them. But I've got this big thing for accountability. I'll always hold myself accountable, and there are absolutely occasions where I think other people are in the wrong in certain aspects of what goes on in life. I don't think you should always take accountability for everything just to move on from something. But this was a period in my life where I wasn't great to be around. I had to move out.
Was this lack of sleep or
No, just in general,
just general like stress levels?
I didn't get on with the kids' mum.
Okay.
I just wasn't nice to be around at all, at all. And
Time, man. It's all right, mate. Take a minute. Sal, it's tough pulling, going back over these things, mate. Takes you back there, doesn't it?
I was able to move past it. It was okay.
So you moved out for a small period of time, or
12 months.
Okay.
Towards the back end of the 12 months, slowly moved back in.
Did you get any help in that time, Jack?
Yeah, I had a bit. I won't go into that. A little bit. That doesn't work for everyone, by the way.
No,
it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't work for everybody at all. Like I know that they say, like, I mean, like you've for people who can't see, like you've got it around the studio, and absolutely, let's talk. Like you've got it on you. What's it now? But for some people, it just doesn't. You know, let's talk. But it doesn't necessarily have to be about that. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's different ways to do it. For some people, it's a literal Pandora's box, and it just sometimes there's other ways around it. And I was on my own, so I moved out. I was on my own in a little dingy. It was a shithole. I remember at the time, just it was in a nice area, but the flat itself was a bit of a shithole. It was damp in there. I didn't really want to have my kids there. But then, like, slowly I was able to, I got myself right, and I moved back in and stuff like that, and my son continued to just show that he wasn't quite like other kids.
Have you just got the one son? Or?
So no, I've got a little girl as well.
Okay.
So when Leo wasn't even one, so this is another, this was just another layer to the onion, so to say. I was having a bit of a hard time at work. For a variety of reasons, like it could have ended up. I ended up being let go, and I remember coming back from work the one day, really fucking bad day, and the kid's mom's come downstairs and she's crying. I thought, oh fuck, what's happened? And at the time there was a couple of family members that were poorly. I thought, oh shit, and she just went, what? She went, I'm pregnant. Leo wasn't even one.
I'm like 2 under 2. Yeah.
She went, I'm pregnant. What? Yeah, I'm pregnant again. And I just remember sort of being stood there, like, so I already hadn't adapted well to being a parent. And I've just been told I got another one on the way as well. And I just thought, that pregnancy, probably I wasn't as good as I was in the first one. So it was during COVID. It was always there. Good pregnancy, actually. You know, we really bonded well during that pregnancy. And Tilly's come, but Tilly's a fucking dynamite. Tilly is. She's fantastic. For how behind, if that's the word, that my son is, my little girl. Oh my god, she's 3.5. She doesn't shut up.
How is she with your son? Does she help him along?
Yeah, she's fantastic. And she knows.
Yeah,
she doesn't quite word it right. Like she'll say, "Oh, his brain isn't the same as ours." I just think, like, fucking hell, where you heard that? Like, but a lot of it, she's really intuitive.
They are.
And I absolutely love them to pieces. As time went on, I was absolutely in denial. Then we were seeing a charity called Brainwave in Somerset. Now at this point, I was convinced Leo was going to be okay. He was just developmentally ill. He's just behind, and they basically confirmed. It's like, no, there's traits of autism was the word that was constantly being used. I didn't care if it was autism. I didn't give a shit what it was. He still wasn't talking at the time. So yeah, it just sort of, as we've gone along, I've learned to deal with it better. I've definitely become a better parent as well. Absolutely, I'm a better parent. But yeah, it was just that point in my life when we found out about Tilly, and then Leo was presenting all of this.
Yeah, it's tough, mate.
All of it was just a shocking time of life. It was so late, and then I was just a bit of a prick to. Because I am a bit of a stress head. I'm not even going to deny that. I am a bit of a stress head, and it just didn't lend itself well to being a good family man at the time. Don't get me wrong, I still did everything I could as a father. Like, I did my extra work with the boxing and stuff like that, and it was just the little things that people don't see behind closed doors. What comes with being a family man, and I just could have been a better partner. I could have been a better dad, a better son. Absolutely, I could have been a better son. Sorry, Mum and Dad. Yeah, mental. Absolutely mental.
Do you know what, mate? First of all, huge fucking respect for saying what you said, that you didn't, because I think
nobody wants to admit it. No,
it's a misconception, mate. Because one, becoming a parent, becoming a father, as you know, as I found out, it completely changes your life. You know, and you have that choice. Your identity overnight, as soon as your child's born, is different. So you've gone from being carefree, essentially your own universe. You're now not. You're orbiting another centre, and it's a massive fucking change. And I think what you said is so much more common than people will admit, because everyone wants to be the good parent, and they want to look at that baby straight away and be like, I'm in love with my child and I love my life as a parent.
Don't get me wrong, I still remember holding him and stuff like that, and I was really looking forward to being a dad. I really was. But then I wasn't ready. That was something I discovered quickly. I wasn't ready. And the problem was I had a bit of a leg up with it, really, because I don't know if they are my stepchildren. I never referred to them as my stepchildren. So the kid's mum, she was married quite young, and she had 2 older children, and I've been involved in most of their life.
Okay.
And I always treated them as my own, always. Again, this is another difficult layer that's come with recent times as well. So I had experience of being a parent. You know what I mean? I was another parent in their life. So I thought, I've got a bit of practice in here before I've even... But no, didn't prepare me at all for what came, and it just... I'd never go as far to say I am or ever was a bad parent. I don't think I am. I absolutely adore my children. Like any parent, I'd do anything for my kids. Anything. It was just timing, me being ready. Probably I've got my own issues that I've just never looked into, maybe in the past, fuck knows. There's some people that have mentioned that, but what's the fucking... people getting diagnosed and stuff like that. I'm saying diagnosed. I'm not suggesting I've got anything. I don't think I have. Other people have mentioned it. What's the fucking use now?
Look, mate,
where's he going to get me now?
We're all unique in our makeup, and I've gone through periods of my life. So I had my son, I was young, I was 22.
Yeah.
2 kids, same mother. My son, I was 22. My daughter was 5 years later. I look back now, mate, when I was 22, I thought I was a man. And I look back now and I think if I had my son now, I would be so much of a better parent. But I've had to forgive myself for the parent I was, because I didn't know any better. It was the first time for me, as it would have been for you and for all of us.
I was older than you, though. I was 28, wasn't I? I was born. So I'm 33. I was 28. So I thought I just thought I really did think I was ready. And it just so happened. And then obviously he's presented with all these issues and stuff. But yeah, I'm at one with it now. Yeah, he's got difficulty. Everyone's fantastic. He's such a loved little boy.
Yeah.
Well, both of them are. Them so looked at. My dad, by the way, I was telling you about my dad earlier. We just weren't an affectionate family.
Yeah.
Bloke.
Mate, they say
completely
grandkids
and
are
utterly different bloke.
Yeah.
And my kids are so loved. Honestly, circumstances at the moment. So I've separated now. We separated. And he said earlier this year. Again, we're in 2026.
Early last year. Yeah.
So we, I think it was around around May time it was. But because of my son, the circumstance, we just haven't got. He's only 5, and then you got Tilly, who's 3. They're small. Leo's got his difficulties, and the circumstances just aren't this. I'm not saying that there's no other family without. Look, I see things on the news about these, kids with like severe disabilities and stuff, and I sit there and think, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm very lucky. Like,
but mate, listen,
physically
it
he's
doesn't.
fine. He's got a beating heart. He's absolutely fine.
It doesn't take away from your struggles, though, just because somebody else is
absolutely.
perceived to do worse.
The struggles were me. It was me.
But that's okay, though, Jack.
No, it's fine.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm
that's okay.
I'm at one with it now. Like, we separated this year. I've still got elements of resentment about it, as you do when you go through separation. Anybody that's gone through separation knows that. I mean, we were engaged. So a wedding's been called off at the end of the day. But I can still go there. I can have my dinner Christmas Eve, stayed there.
That's nice, mate. Yeah.
We've managed. She comes to my mum and dad's for a Sunday, a Sunday dinner. Her parents, by the way, and I can't believe I haven't mentioned this so far. They're a second set of parents for me. I cannot. New Year's Eve has just gone by, and I stayed at their house New Year's Eve after we went to a party and stuff like that, where all the family was there. I was still made to feel welcome.
That's a beautiful thing, mate.
I'm very, very lucky.
That's the beautiful
such a lucky
thing.
man.
It's the one thing I haven't got that. So me and my ex-wife, the mother of my kids, there's no contact whatsoever. It's a shame for the kids. It is what it is, and I see stories like that, and I think that's the right way. Like it's nice, because at the end of the day, the kids come first.
Yeah.
And if and it's not knocking. I'm not making it any kind of like. In terms of my personal circumstances, it just isn't possible.
No,
there's no blame
possible
to be thrown around, but where it is, that's a beautiful thing, because the kids will remember that. That's all they want.
I don't think they know any different.
Yeah,
I genuinely don't. Like, they know that are we going to Daddy's house tonight? Tilly would say that. Leo, like I say, Leo says words now. He doesn't have conversations with people. And they come to mind, but like I still want it to be normal to them. So like I go to the house, and it's
in a way, Jack. To be honest, the fact that they're younger will actually go in your favour. So
yeah, we discussed that. Yeah.
When I split up with my ex-wife, my son was 8. I think he found it harder because he understood so much more.
Yeah.
My daughter was 3, and my daughter, to her, I'm remarried now, and my daughter has known my wife now since she was nearly 4, and she's just turned 13. So she's nearly been in her life like a hell of a lot longer. My daughter probably can't remember anything of me and her mum being together. But this new setup is what she knows.
Yeah, it's similar to, like I said, the kid's mum. I mean, there's 2 other children in this situation. One's 12, one's 15, and like they're still there, and it was difficult. Really. So like even earlier, I touched upon them, and I thought, they're my stepchildren now. And I never used that term anyway. When we were together, I never referred to them. I'd say I've got 4 kids.
Yeah,
that was how I used to refer to it. The youngest was about 3 or 4 when I first met them. So that's been a bit of a challenge as well, if I'm being honest, because it's just like where we at with that. But it is what it is. We'll learn how to traverse that as we go along. And my son started school now. He's in a mainstream. They've been brilliant, by the way, absolutely brilliant.
Okay, so the mainstream.
It looks like he'll be moving on. But just little wins every day that I wasn't able to take on board once upon a time.
You got any support around you, like in terms of other parents that have got autistic children or anything like that? Have you got any support network? Or
she has, I don't.
Yeah,
I can't do this sitting in a circle. I can't do it.
The reason I say it, Jack, so one of my former guests, Darren, runs a company called Cleaner Carpets. Been on twice actually. Okay. Great guy. He's got 2 sons, and they're both non-verbal autistic.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things he said is that one of the biggest struggles is like nobody understands. He said, so like his friend circle will say to him, like, oh, how are the boys? And he'll just default, be like, yeah, sound.
Yeah.
He's like, but in reality, they're not. He might have had a fucking terrible day.
Yeah.
But he doesn't feel there's any point in expanding upon. Because
which isn't the fault of the people who are asking.
No, not at
when
all.
People ask that, it's like when you're grieving.
Mm.
If you lose, if somebody passes away and you lose somebody, there's only so many times you can read that same text message and hear that same.
So sorry to hear that. Yeah,
There's only so many times before it becomes tedious, and that's nothing against the people that do it. You know that they mean well, and that's the same when it comes to the kids as well. People want to understand, which is fine. I've got to. I'm going to go out, stick my neck out here. I probably wasn't a believer in this, or no, that's wrong for me to say. I do believe autism was a thing. I do believe that there is a lot of conditions nowadays that are a little bit too hammed up. Just little things like I used to picture like my son going boxing, like his first time going boxing, his first time going to football. He's probably not going to do that, and that bothered me. It upset me. I'm okay with that now, though. I'm okay with it. He's like I say, the little wins. We were in the car yesterday, and just out of habit, I just sort of turned around at the lights, and I just went, "You all right, mate?" And there was like a 5-second delay, and he went, "Yeah." And it was like one of those, "You fucking what?" moments. So fucking what? I waited 30 seconds, and I did it again. He did it again, and then we got to my mum's house where I was taking him. I said, "Guess what's just happened?" And then he did it again at my mum's house, and I tried to do it this morning, and he probably won't do it again now. But again, just like that yesterday, that really improved my day yesterday. And whereas before I'd look at it from, is that all my son's ever going to fucking do? Like, to acknowledge me. I still remember when he first called me Dad.
You get to reframe the wins, mate.
Yeah.
It's again, mate, I'll refer back to the stuff that Darren said to me when he sat here, and it's that same thing. I guess you end up, there's the Disney version of parenting, Jack, isn't there? That we're all
100%
installed with, and I guess from your perspective, you have to kind of reframe and rebuild it. But then once you do get to that point of acceptance, which sounds like where you're at,
it's fine.
then your wins and your goals are very different, but just as poignant.
He started saying, like, you can point and you can say, "Who's that?" And he'll say, "Mummy," which is good. So he's doing stuff within context now. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Like the only reason, like, I'm a little bit, like I just said, like I remember when he first called me Dad. I mean, that was only that's barely been 2 years ago. It was in my mum's garden during the summer, and the only reason, like, I was like it's because I'm pissed off. I was fucking last. Yeah, I was the last one where he did it. So there was Nanny, there was Grandad, there was Mum. No, fucking Dad was fucking last, wasn't it? Like, fucking hell. So yeah, I think I'm okay with it all. It is what it is, and we're still learning to deal with it.
It's a journey, mate, isn't it?
It's a shit one as well, mate. It hasn't been pleasant at all. It's not been the easiest 5 years for him either. So when he turned 5 in November, I remember him turning 5, and it doesn't seem 5 minutes ago he was born. Like, that's a legitimate thing when people say, "Oh, fucking hell, they grow up fast, don't they?" They don't half. Like,
mate, my son turns 19 in April, so yeah, and that, yeah, it goes quick.
Mental, absolutely mental. And I just remember thinking, do you know what? It hasn't been an easy 5 years for him. I mean, he's probably not aware of it, which is fantastic. It's like that blissful lack of awareness that he probably has at that age. And there's going to come a point where he will notice he's different, maybe, when he gets older. I dread to think what it's going to be like when he gets to, like, fucking secondary school age, but it is what it is. And do you know what? I'm very lucky. I mean, we talk about the network around us as parents. Like I said earlier, he's such a loved little boy. He's so loved. It's unreal. And his mum's fantastic as well. Honestly, I'm very lucky to for my kids to have a mother like that.
Listen, mate, fucking getting emotional about your kids, man, it's 100%. And fucking respect to you. There's nothing more important in the world. Nothing more important. It's beautiful to hear you as a man talking this way. Because
They warned me you was going to do this to me. They warned me.
there's Jack, mate. Honestly, I've got so much respect for people like you opening up. Because as well as you sat here today, there'll be so many people behind the fucking camera out there that there'll be. I refer to it as seeds that you plant that you never get to see the growth of the trees.
Definitely.
There'll be people listening to this that might be in the same position, that are struggling and having the same fucking emotions and thoughts that you've had, that just need to know they're not alone.
And do you know what? Look, like you was talking about, like Disney parenting. Look, life's not perfect. I'm not as financially stable as I'd like to be. Personal circumstances, like my engagement was called off and stuff like that. Life's not perfect. I'd like to have that picture book family home. I don't own property. I just, you know what I mean? Like it's that's a big thing nowadays, like being married, owning a house and stuff like that. Life is not perfect, and I'm probably, do you know what? I'm nowhere near. I'm probably not going to get married now. My mum and dad aren't married.
Never, mate. Never know.
No, but genuinely, I never grew up being bothered about marriage, actually. Yeah. So for me, in this whole separate, like, don't get me wrong, it's been sad that we've had to call it off and the like, but that didn't come before us and the kids. Do you know what I mean? That would have just been like the icing on the cake, maybe. But people who are listening to, I don't know how much of this is going to be edited. I don't know.
Not a lot, mate. I said this before, that the only editing I will do is the editing you asked me to do.
Which again, we might speak afterwards. I don't know, but
I'll leave that down to you. But I always, the way that I do this, mate, I don't see that I am in any kind of position to choose what holds value or what doesn't.
But
so
at the end of the day, we agreed to come on here, and there was always a chance we were going to delve that deep. It's not a problem at all. Like I said, I'm a massive believer in accountability. I chose to come here, didn't I?
Everything that you've said, though, mate, is just been raw, honest, and as I say, there's other people out there.
It's okay for your life not to be perfect. It's
100%.
I don't think I've ever met anyone whose life is perfect.
Disney is for Disney. Like, it don't. I think
even the people you perceive their life to be fantastic. Yeah. There's going to be something that's
mate, again, social media is a bit of a detriment there, because you can portray perfect, and it's so visual. Everyone thinks, "Oh, look at them, they're the perfect family."
Yeah.
And I know some examples of this, and behind the scenes, there's all sorts going on, which rightly so. You might not want to put there in the public eye, but I think the way that the world and society is going now, mate, it's very rare now, and it's beautiful when you do find it, but it's very rare that the stereotypical 2.4 kids family, married, stay together. It's not very common anymore. Not in our culture.
No, it's not. It's not.
I mean, that's me speaking. So I've been married twice. Like I say, 2 kids, and my parents. I mean, my mum's been married several times. My dad's been married a couple of times. There's a lot of marriages in my family, but yeah, it's more common within my family line than not that people have remarried and all that. So it's such a normal thing now, mate.
My dad is one of the. He doesn't seem to be arsed about anything. My dad, he's a proper. He was like the crossover. I reckon I was one of that last of the crossover generation where you had like the new age parenting and the old age parenting. That's not me saying like my dad was fucking sexist and you'll do my dinner and stuff. That's not what I'm saying at all. But we lived in a traditional household, but they never wanted to get married. I'm sure my mum did at some point, but I mean, they've been together, 37, 38 years. I never got married. I never grew up being asked about marriage because I could see I didn't need to get married for my mum and dad.
That's the example, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It never bothered me. And then with the kids' mum, I thought, why would you want to get married again? I mean, no offence to yourself. Why would you want to get married again if you've been there, you got the T-shirt, it didn't work, like...
No, Jack, I get it.
But that's something I'll never understand. I've never been married, so I'll never understand that.
But listen, hands up, I've got a very different view on marriage now to what I had when I got married. And that's not knocking my marriage, but I've said this to friends of mine as well. The biggest commitment you can make with somebody is having kids, because that ties you to that person for life.
Absolutely.
Whereas getting married, in reality, is just a contract between you and the government. It doesn't change anything.
It doesn't at all. If I look in my current, like I keep talking about my day job, I'm not going to tell everyone what I do. But in my current role, if I was to snuff it tomorrow, the mum's still getting all of my pension contributions. She's still getting my death in benefit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's still getting my life insurance.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything at all. So, yeah, I just viewed it as, I mean, even when we were engaged, when we were looking, I just viewed it as a needless expense. For the whole of it, I said, I just want to go to the registry office, we come out, fuck off, go abroad.
Do you know what, mate?
That was exactly what I wanted to do.
My view on it is that...
And I think she was coming round to it as well, not long before it fucking all went south. But
I mean, it could have been worse, mate.
I've lost out on a fucking holiday as well.
Could have been worse, Jack. I know several people that have had the big wedding, and I'm talking like 25, 30k, and it hasn't lasted a year.
I was best man at one of them, and brilliant day, honestly. I'm not going to name the person. No doubt he'll watch it, but he'll know I'm talking about him. I was best man at his wedding, and he comes from a similar area to me, very working class, very different, and you know he was married into quite a very well off family, who were lovely, by the way. They were fantastic. And I just remember doing my speech and looking out over this marquee, which had took over a fucking village common. And like one side was his family, one side was the other family. I was like, how the fuck am I going to tell this speech? And like everyone's going to... It was so difficult, mate. Like, and like you said, that was I can only imagine how much that wedding cost. But yeah, that didn't last either. But both parties are happy.
Yeah.
They've gone their separate ways, and he's remarried. She's doing okay as well, so everyone's okay, everything's fine, so I feel fine talking about it.
I see it as two things, mate. I see having a wedding and getting married as two different things. The wedding is the event, so that's the big, and I think that's the thing. I think particularly, obviously, little girls are told the fairy tale, the Disney, the wedding, the big dress, the event. Getting married is the bond between
I can't think of anything worse,
you and the other person.
I like being there. Like last...
being at somebody else's wedding is great.
Brilliant. One of my best
being yours is
one of my really good mates from my uncle's pub. Like we went on this stag do to Portugal. I've got his name tattooed on my arse from the stag. His wedding was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But it was in a lovely place in Shropshire called Bridge North. Lovely venue.
Bridge North, yeah.
I remember saying to him the day after, like, do you feel any different? He was like, nah, mate. I was like, I remember and we was engaged at the time. And I was thinking, yeah, do you know what? Great day. But I wouldn't want to be that bloke at the front of it. I just don't think I could ever do that. Which probably lends itself to me being a Cutman.
Yeah.
I never made it I was never going to make it as a fight. I'm not going to sit here and say I had aspirations and fucking no. I was never going to get there, ever. As much as I'd have loved to have had the title fight in a state. No, just utter ridiculousness to even like consider that was ever a possibility. But yeah, like I was saying, like not being that bloke at the front of a wedding, it's probably quite similar to being a Cutman. I prefer helping out on the sideline, and I'm a good second pair of eyes, I think. I prefer that. In the gyms I work in, I'm a good second pair of eyes. And I think that's the way I like it. I do think that's the way I like it.
But those people are needed, mate. That's the thing.
Oh, they are. The stuff that I get fighters tell me, stuff that they'd never dream of telling head coach.
Yeah.
Some of them, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Look, even though like we've just had a couple of hard conversations, it's just like it is what it is. If you've got the right pitch, some people don't. And you know what? I am a very lucky man. Throughout everything, I've had a very good network of people around me, and even in the last 6 months of turbulence, the same people have never wavered either. It's not been like for a month or so they say like they're there for you, and now like Cole Cook and Liam Bretherton, two of the funniest blokes I know. Cole's a referee, he works in unlicensed boxing. Liam's a ring announcer, he's an MC. So he's a Scouser, he gets all the relevant Scouse banter. Cole's just mad as a box of frogs. They've been there constantly from day one. I mean, we barely see each other really. You're talking like a month and a half, 2 months at a time. I don't think I've seen him actually for about 3 months now. My mate Reese, Aaron, it's the same people all the time, and it's underestimated. Just normality. It doesn't have to be like, oh, let's talk about it all. It doesn't have to be that.
Do you know what, mate? Is you've made the point a couple of times about sometimes you don't need to talk, and it's a bit of a controversial thing considering the thing that I'm always saying is let's talk, but like you just said, it doesn't have to be. I have this conversation with my wife.
It's not that I'm saying that you don't have to talk. I think it's what you talk about.
Yeah.
So let's talk, but it doesn't have to be about like I said. Sometimes it can be a Pandora's box that you just.
Mate, I've had this conversation, mate, from your perspective as well. So I have this conversation with my wife. So yeah, Ange, if you ever listen to this, but she said to me, there's certain things in my life that has gone on that I don't talk about, and I should. And I have said in the past, why? And she's like, well, because you should talk about them. And I'm like, but I don't need to. Like, I've been through shit. There has been shit that is painful that I don't want to talk about, that I have boxed off and stuck away. And if it was... so this week's guest, for example, Mary Todd, she talks about emotional roadblocks.
Have you released that, by the way?
We went out yesterday.
I was going to say, because I saw the clips of it, what she was talking about, the pain and the stuff. Again, if she's a watcher of this, thank you, Mary. Honestly, I saw the thing that you said about pain, suffering. And honest to God, she just...
Sometimes
there's some stuff I don't subscribe to, like where people, you got to get up and you have these 5 things every day that you want to be thankful for, and I am absolutely one of those miserable fuckers that is just like... Please.
Shut the fuck up and give me a coffee.
Yeah. But what she was saying about the pain and suffering, oh my, it was just, she just hit the nail on the head. It really, really resonated with me. She was.
But what her thing is, so she calls herself, or is known as, the roadblock coach, and she refers to emotional roadblocks. Now, to me, if you've got that, if something in your past, a past trauma, I think she is a trauma-informed coach. So if a past trauma is affecting your life now negatively, absolutely explore it, right? Whether that's talking about it, getting help, whatever, explore it, it's fine. But if a past trauma is boxed away and is not negatively affecting you, I personally don't see the need to keep lifting that lid.
I agree.
You know, I've gone through bereavements, I've gone through childhood adversities and all this kind of stuff, and there probably has been points in my life where it has affected me. But I've done a lot of work, a lot of internal work, and I have boxed shit away. That's how I cope. That's me. And I'm kind of the opinion, everyone's different. Some of the shit I've boxed away, I don't feel the need to lift the lid on.
I think we said it really early on, and we were talking about how people portray themselves. If I've got something to fucking say, I'll say blah, blah, blah. Again, I've never subscribed to that view. I just think some things. I think timing's everything. There's plenty of people, there's plenty of issues in today's world that I have an opinion on. But unless the timing's right and it's appropriate, what's the use in talking about it? If you can box something off,
you don't have to give it.
Again, what I've spoken about with the early stages of parenthood for me. That is probably the only time I'm probably going to speak about it. Again, aside from maybe when I have the conversation with my own children about it when they have kids. I can't say how it's ever going to be appropriate for me to need to talk about that again. It doesn't do me any good by speaking about it.
That's the point.
It does me no good at all. I didn't actually feel great when we were speaking about it. I feel better, I feel better in the respect that some people are going to see it and maybe think, do you know what? It isn't a Disney story being a parent.
The reason I think it's important, Jack, is for that, don't get stereotypicalise, if that's a word. Stereotype it here. But the reason I think that those kind of conversations are important is you saying that could result a couple of weeks down the line to some geezer stood in the pub with his mate and he goes, do you know what, mate? I listened to a podcast the other day and this guy was talking about how, parenthood initially was, he didn't feel that connection. And I'm feeling like that. That's it. That's enough. That for me is enough of a reason to have these conversations, because we don't know now where this goes out into the fucking ether. I mean, blows my mind, but the podcast is listened to in like over 70 countries. So there could be a conversation, a couple of geezers stood wherever. that you opening up could have then initiated somebody else to open up that needs to. That's not to say that everybody needs to.
Different things, it's different strokes for different folks. It just... Calm seas make for shit sailors.
True that.
And you know what? I've really just come round to that. You're just conditioning yourself. You're constantly conditioning yourself for potentially the next bit of bullshit that's going to come your way, and it could define how you're going to deal with that little bit of bullshit.
Absolutely,
and that's the sort of... I've tried all the different... I love a drink. I absolutely love a drink. On occasions, I've had probably an unhealthy relationship. I've never gone as far to say, like, I've got a problem. The doctor fucking told me I had. And I was like, mate, before I had kids and any of this, I loved the sesh. I just I still love a drink now. I've got an office job now, so I drink a lot. I eat what the fuck I want. I don't do a lot of exercise. I've put a lot of weight on in the last 12 months because of my circumstances. I was probably putting on weight before that as well anyway. I've tried everything, like, to sort of all the stereotypical things, like having a drug. I've never done drugs. I've not once in my life. I suppose alcohol is probably one of the most dangerous drugs there is, but no, I've never done drugs. I mean, there's a lot of things that people go to nowadays, don't they? And probably drink was always something that I enjoyed doing, so it never became a problem because it was something I enjoyed doing. I do it socially. I do drink at home. Probably something that's not advisable for most people that are in the same situation as me, but I've always felt like I can keep a cap on it. So those guys in the pub who you were just talking about, if they are listening and the session's going to get a bit out of control because of what they're going through, start fucking doing it, do you know what I mean? Just, if it's something you enjoy doing, look, I'm not a counsellor. I'm not somebody that's going to advise anyone on how to deal with the problems. I'm really not. But like you say, if somebody's standing there listening, then...
Mate, listen, I think one of the biggest things, because you can't offer a solution. You know, people have got to walk their own path.
Sometimes there isn't a solution, though.
No. But one of the big things that does help is just people knowing that they're not alone. Because I remember a lot of the shit I've been through in life, it was just that. The overwhelming feeling of being in the midst of something and thinking it's just me. I'm the only one going through this. And I think blokes, we've got a tendency to do that anyway, is just to lock it in and be like,
and that's never going to
just me.
disappear. In this day and age, the so-called woke world we live in now, the responsibility of being a man, a masculine man, still hasn't disappeared. And it's not going to. It's not going to disappear. Which has its pros, it has its cons, whatever. But, yeah, absolutely. I know why you started this podcast, Russ. I understand. I remember having a 10-minute phone call turned into an hour one, didn't it? And you were telling me, like, the origins of the podcast. And do you know what? It was testament to yourself, actually, because a lot of the spiel that people come out with, it just gets to the point where you feel like you've heard it so many times. And I do think the whole mental health thing's a bit of a fashionable thing nowadays. I do. Maybe some people will disagree with that. But I could tell that yours was a genuine... You know, you had everything you said. You had stats, you had personal experiences to back everything you were saying up. And yeah, it just...
It is, mate. I don't disagree with anything you just said. I watched a comedy sketch the other day. I think it was Ricky Gervais was talking about how fashionable it is now to have mental health. People grasp it.
There's a lot of fighters that are doing it as well, sports people. I stand for... Now, I do not consider myself a mental health advocate in any sense whatsoever, because I think you are giving yourself an absolute monumental responsibility. If you're going to make yourself that sort of... I'm an advocate for mental health.
Yeah.
I think that's especially if you haven't got your own in check. And I do think it's become a bit of a fashionable thing. So 100%. Some people use it as a selling point as well. So they'll say, like,
disagree.
I'm doing this for mental health, blah, 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 blah. Whether that means buy a ticket, buy one of my hoodies, buy something that I sell, one of my products or something like that. And some of them, I just think... Some of them are genuine. Absolutely. Some. I'm not saying everybody's at it. But there are absolutely some fucking slime balls that are doing that.
Million percent.
They absolutely do it. Like to the point
100%.
where some of them are making up fucking stories about what they've experienced, and you'll be listening to them sometimes and you're thinking there's fucking holes in this story. Yeah.
I would like to think, my vision for this, I would like to think that this podcast is angled at those that I'm still trying to angle it at the people that don't think it's fashionable, the ones that don't want to talk about it, the stereotypical alpha male types, the working class. That is what I still think the audience goes out to. In fact, I would imagine those that are in the mental health fashion kind of thing wouldn't listen to this.
Probably not.
Because it's probably a bit too real.
Probably not.
You know?
But like I said, when we had that phone call, I mean, I travelled here this morning, and I was open about this when I arrived. I was still wondering, do I really, really want to do this? I was having second thoughts about it, not to the point where I was just going to turn around. I don't mean that at all.
I get it, mate. I get it. I certainly don't think you're alone in that.
But then the more I thought back to the phone call that we had as well, and something that you audit. This is the sort of thing that people should be getting behind, and we've seen who it helps. It's there. We've seen who this helps, and I expected us to be talking more about. We've probably only done half of it about my work, actually, in my past, to be honest with you. It's probably been. I've probably opened up a little bit more than I probably should have, or wanted to, which isn't a problem, by the way. But like I said, it's there if it is helping people, and I don't know. I'm probably just waffling a little bit now, but like I said, because this is not something that I'm used to. I'm struggling to. I've never had a problem with speaking to people. I don't have a problem with public speaking. It doesn't bother me. I'm not a shy person. It's just this sort of manner of the manner of the conversation that we've had. I've probably had this conversation with probably one, maybe two people.
I appreciate it, mate. I mean, I appreciate you trusting me or trusting the platform with your life, essentially.
I mean, it's still had to be like, changed in places, and being able to articulate it in the right way was one of my main concerns today. But
I think you've done a great job, mate. I think what you've done is and the listeners and the viewers will no doubt resonate, but you've just been real, mate. You've been a real man. You've got an interesting job. You've got a job, where people have got that intrigue and interest. But I've always said this. It's like the name of the podcast being The Talking Tradesman, and the origins of the podcast started in the construction industry. But I've always been very open and upfront with the people that have come on the podcast, where I'm going, I don't want to talk about building or carpentry or whatever. I live that. I want to talk about you, the person behind the business that works in. Because I mean, like, my thing with the trades industry was always that some of the fucking salt of the earth characters work in the construction industry, and you get talking to them on site, and they've got these wild stories and backgrounds, and you just wouldn't know. You'd be like, oh yeah, that's Dave the chippy, but it turns out he's fucking ex-armed forces, and he's been through this, and he's done that, and he's done this, and that's why I created this platform, was kind of trying to give the normal person a voice, to give people in the trades a voice, the working class, normal men, and also the fucking struggles, mate, and the horrible statistics that we see in the UK. I mean, suicide is the biggest killer of men under 50 in the United Kingdom. The biggest killer, and yet we don't talk about it.
And do you know what? It's alarmingly common. The guys that I've spoken to in the early stages of my parenthood, that's it doesn't affect me now. It doesn't affect me at all. It was hard to revisit, I think, more than anything. But the people who I spoke to at the time, like you were just talking about, like suicide prevention and stuff like that. I am not for a second sitting here and saying I've got any experience. I haven't. But you do have moments where you just sort of think, how would the situation around me be if I wasn't here? You do. And that's not suicidal ideation. It's not.
Mate, it's so normal.
It's so normal. It's absolutely fucking normal. Yeah. The amount of times at one point where I was just thinking, if I wasn't here, how different would things be? And that's not so that you can sort of justify your own existence. You're actually thinking, does it make things easier for the people that I love? And it does. Some of the lowest moments that you have, maybe sometimes where you sat there and you're half away, fucking down a bottle of Jameson's, maybe that's where you have those thoughts, and that's where it does become a little bit dangerous, maybe. But absolutely, there was numerous people that I spoke to when I was probably at my lowest point. And I'd tell them stuff like that. A couple of them would overreact and be like, "Oh, you're not going to do anything stupid, are you?" I'm like, "You're fucking listening to me. That's not what I was suggesting." But they'd echo this. Some of them, they'd echo the sentiment. And it's so easy for that moment to just fucking happen where it does become a fucking idea.
Mate, it's a crisis flashpoint.
Frightening, absolutely frightening, mate.
It's a part of my background. I volunteered at Samaritans for 18 months, taking the calls. So those calls, crisis. I mean, you could argue that the fact that they've picked up the phone means that they're already contemplating in a lot of cases. But in our training, we were told 20 minutes. There's like a 20-minute flashpoint, danger point, whatever, where people are just in like almost like a manic episode or I'm going to do it.
We used to get it in the kids' hours.
20 minutes, if you could talk to them for 20 minutes, generally that's enough time to reset, get a bit more rational thinking involved, and people come down. The problem is, obviously, with a lot of men, we tend to be a bit more extreme in our actions. So I think statistically, if I'm correct, the amount of attempted suicide between men and women is quite similar, whereas the rate of actual suicide with men and women is 75-25.
It's not something I've ever looked at. That's what I mean. You're better placed to... It's not something I've ever wanted to look into, to be honest with you.
Of course.
It's not something I ever wanted to look into. Especially, well, the job that I did previously in the kids, I mean, we had numerous occasions where kids made attempts. Some were worse than others. I mean, even recently, Ricky Hatton. Now, that really knocked me about, that did. So we had somebody that we work with in the Northwest. He sent a couple of us a message, and this is before the news had broke, and he just says, "Look, have any of you heard about what's going on, like, up in Manchester at the moment?" I was like, "No," and they were saying, like, "Look, they reckon they found Ricky dead." I was like, fucking hell. But until it hit the news at about 2:00, it was a Sunday afternoon, I think. And he really knocked me sick, that did. Because it's been a long publicised... Everyone was aware of his issues. Yeah. You wonder how many occasions would there have been that...
That's what I mean.
Because he's had a he's had his, he's had some really hard times with his personal life and stuff like that, his family and that. And I just remember that really. I remember going to work the next day, and I heard it on the radio still. I was really upset me, actually, that did, the old Ricky Hatton scenario. And on the Safehands page, I made a point, like, we shared just a picture. And a lot of people now, they use AI to write the stuff. Anything that's on the Safehands page, I've written that. And if I've not posted it, I've sent it to the chap that does post the stuff for me. And I remember, and it was the easiest thing I've ever wrote in my life. So, like, when he was in his pomp, that was like that was when I was really into my body. Do you know what I mean? Like, he absolutely wasn't as talented as some of the other people in his generation, but
it's mad, isn't it? I mean, it's tragic, the Ricky Hatton story, and he was always very vocal about his battles. But it's strange how when we see these high-profile figures, it then takes us back. But there's so many blokes every single day that either get that... and
that's the only time I've ever put anything on... It wasn't even on my personal pages either. I made sure on the Safehands page, the Samaritans details were there.
Yeah.
Because I thought, this is going to trigger a lot of people. This is because he was that sort of public figure that everyone thought that they knew. So, like...
It's all right, mate. It's just the telly needs to... For anyone listening, the telly has just decided to switch itself off. It was probably doing a countdown. I didn't catch the thing, so ignore it.
We get these public figures where everyone feels like they know them, and so you just wonder, like, would that have triggered more people than...
100% it would. Yeah.
Than usual.
There's crazy. This is what I mean, like, on a daily basis, and a lot of the guests, a lot of the people that I've spoke to on this podcast, a lot of the times when they've come that close to stepping out of this world, nobody knew. they've kept it to themselves, or it's been years down the line when they've actually spoken about it. And that's the thing, it's so fucking common, mate, and it's that split second of just, I guess, that dawning realisation of like, no, like whatever that reason might be, but it's the people that don't have that, and then because as I say, predominantly men tend to be more extreme with their methods, so it's stuff that you can't come, I mean, you know, an overdose is easier to come back from stepping off the top of a fucking high building. You know what I mean? Like, neither of them are good, but when it comes to the two methods, one's irreversible. And men, unfortunately, tend to be more towards the irreversible when it comes to the statistics.
That's, again, something that, like, I'm talking about, like, the little wins. Like, I never, like I said to you earlier, I wouldn't want anyone, like I said to my friends previously, that's never the direction I was going in. It was more of
just a thought.
I was several steps in, like, before that. I never got past. Do you know what I mean? That's never occurred to me. I don't want this to turn into I'm a survivor. It's not. I was nothing of the sort.
Mate, I get you.
But it's always those little jumps, and then by the time before these people know it, they're obviously getting to this point where it just makes you wonder, like.
But I guess, I mean, again, speculating, mate, fortunately, I've not been in that position myself, but I would imagine it probably starts that way. The odd thought turns into regular thoughts, turns into plans, turns into execution of whatever those plans might be.
It's just a little, yeah. Like you say, we could speculate all day, and it's just, he'd done better thinking about, I suppose.
Well, mate, I really appreciate the fact that you have opened up as much as you have, mate, because it will go a long way to helping people.
No problem.
And it's been interesting hearing about the Safehands side of things as well, mate, because it's that element of the fight world that it's just people don't really know about. I didn't know about some of the stuff you were talking about. It's interesting. I hope to see Safehands and you know, Cutman Jack, continue to go in the trajectory that you're going, mate, and it'd be interesting to keep an eye on.
Hopefully, honestly, nobody hopes more than myself it's going to be a big 2026. But like I say, a lot of things have to fall into place for that to happen. The fighters that you work with have to get the opportunities, and
of course,
little things like that. And it's hopefully, a bit more networking, a bit more progress. 2025 was better than I could have imagined.
Well, again, before I forget, mate, just let everyone know on socials where they can find you. That's a good start point.
Oh, okay, at Safehands UK. If you search for it, you'll see this logo, and that's the Safehands page. You can follow me. I do have a personal page as well, which is just Jack Anthony 92. But the Safehands page is where all the boxing and combat related stuff is, and maybe sometime in 2026 we'll come back to the equipment side of things. But
yeah, man, why not? Never say never.
We'll see how it goes.
Well, for everyone listening, Jack's details, I'll tag your social profiles. So whatever platform you're listening to this on, while you're there, subscribe. But scroll down below there, below the first paragraph will be Jack's social details. So go and give him a click, give him a follow. You can see all of his journey this year, 2026. See where he gets to and see all the stuff he gets up to and all the rest of it. Mate, it's been a pleasure, and again, thank you for opening up and letting people see the person behind.
No, cheers for having me, and more so, cheers for doing what you do as well. Like, on behalf of everybody that probably listens, and I do some fucking hours in the car, I do, and it really passes the time.
Yeah.
It's just having a different podcast here and there to listen to. No.
Appreciate it, mate.
Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you.
No, mate, I love doing it. It gives me purpose, which is really important in life. So sitting here having these conversations and knowing and hoping that it's going out there to help somebody somewhere, that's enough for me, man. It gives me purpose in life.
Anyone can paint, can't they? So
exactly, I've got to do something. But no, mate, again, massive thank you. Thank you for giving up your time. Thank you for being a part of this. And to everyone listening, I don't know what camera we're on now because the telly switched itself off. But to everyone listening, thank you very much for tuning in. And I'll catch you soon on the next one.